but he was lucky later àwọn èèyàn wá gather together to before he died but níjọ́ tí mo rí wọn wọ́n sunkún ni wọ́n wá omi pé ẹ̀bùn ṣébi tí gbajúmọ̀ yẹ kó máa gbére bench báyìí ni bàbá ló wà ní sitting room bàbá the other corner báyìí ìyàwó wọn gbé ọbẹ̀ àwọn ìsásùn nínú sitting room níbi tí wọ́n sùn. It was a rich but bàbá from my reading of him that day just my interview bàbá yóò forgive Ayinla Omowura.
Yes,
for forgive her 40 years after
wọ́n sì ní
wọ́n yìí ní grounds against him.
Mo kí yín ẹ kú dédé àsìkò yìí àlejò tí mo gbà lénìí orúkọ wọn ni Festus Adedayo doctor, that's PhD Festus Adedayo, PhD holder, then barrister Festus Adedayo. Ẹ fẹ́ràn ìwé kíkà gan.
Won't try.
Ẹ try. Kò sígbà tí mo wá sọ́fíìsì níbi orí ìwé mo ti máa bá yín nínú kẹ́ máa kọ́ àbí kẹ́ máa kà. Inú mi ní láti gbà yín lálejò sá.
Inú mi náà dùn láti wà níbí.
Ọ̀rọ̀ wa máa pọ̀ díẹ̀ o.
Ọlọ́run á fún wa sọ.
Ṣọmọ Iléṣà ni àbọ̀ máa Àkúrẹ́.
Ọmọ Àkúrẹ́ ni mí.
Àkúrẹ́ gangan.
Gangan ìlú Àbò.
Okay, ìlú Àbò, ìlú bàbá Olúfàlàyé.
Ìlú bàbá Olúfàlàyé.
Okay.
Village mi ní ìlú Àbò. Ọmọ Àkúrẹ́.
Ẹ ní nǹkan ṣe pẹ̀lú Iléṣà.
A lot. First 1980 ni mo kọ́kọ́ dé Iléṣà. Bàbá mi kọ́lọ̀ fọ̀run kẹ́wọn. Wọ́n jẹ́ ọlọ́pàá. Wọ́n dẹ̀ máa ń gbé àwọn ọlọ́pàá kiri, àti gbé Ìkirè, àti gbé Ìwó, àti gbé Kírun, àgbé Iléṣà.
Okay.
So 1980 ni wọ́n gbé wọn láti Ìkírun wá sí Iléṣà. Ìkírun mo ti kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ secondary school mi Akírun grammar school 1979. So 1980 if I'm not mistaken wọ́n wá gbé wa wá sí Iléṣà. So gbàtà dé Iléṣà mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí lọ school ní Cherubim and Seraphim High School.
Okay.
So mo wà Iléṣà ìgbà tí bàbá Agúnléjìká kò pẹ́ sígbà tí bàbá Agúnléjìká kú tí mo dé Iléṣà. So mo lọ form 3, form 4, form 5 ní Iléṣà. Iléṣà ni mo tún ti lọ sí Polytechnic Ìbàdàn Ẹ̀sà Òkè campus.
Okay.
1985 kó tó dìgbà yẹn mo ṣiṣẹ́ ní fún bí oṣù mélòó kan ní International Breweries Limited. Bàbá Chief Akínọlá.
Okay, Baba
Sáwẹ̀.
Yeah.
Àwọn ni managing director nígbà yẹn. So I was working directly under him. Mo máa ń sọ story yẹn fáwọn èèyàn tí wọ́n bá fẹ́ gbọ́. I worked under him as a messenger.
Okay.
Although I was employed by International Breweries as a clerk.
Okay.
But ìgbà yẹn I was 15 years old.
Okay.
So ìgbà mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣiṣẹ́. I was working as a messenger. Èmi ni mo bá wọn lọ drop mails. Ó yá lọ gbọ́ tí fún ẹni báyìí. As a young boy, I was enjoying it.
Okay.
You know, a very interesting story can emerge from it. 1984, tí mo jáde ní Kerubu, I had all my results, but bàbá mi kàn feel pé between June tá parí, wọ́n rí ẹnìkan tó link wọn. Wọ́n dẹ̀ gbà mí sí Breweries Iléṣà.
Okay.
So pé kí n kàn ṣiṣẹ́ for a while. Mo bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣiṣẹ́. Mo kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní personnel department, International Breweries. Wọ́n wá second mi sí ọ̀dọ̀ MD as a clerk, but I was working as a messenger. I was about 15 years old. Wọ́n lọ máa bá wọn gbọ́ tí ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀. So 1984 yẹn mo ṣe JAMB. I think I scored 200. So ìgbà mo wá dọ́dọ̀ bàbá MD.
Okay.
Wọ́n á sọ fún mi pé mo gba JAMB. Ifẹ̀ ni mo mú English. So ọ̀rẹ́ wọn mo rántí ń gbà yẹn wọ́n wá kí wọn lọ́fíìsì Professor Omole and some other people.
Ṣé Professor Wálé Ọmọlé náà?
Ó dẹ̀ pé Wálé Ọmọlé ni I'm not sure. Mo ṣáà mọ̀ pé Professor Omole.
Okay.
So wọ́n wá sọ fún ẹ pé ọmọ mi yìí ó ṣe JAMB 200 àwọn yẹn náà ó ti late jù. So bàbá Akínọlá wá lọ fún nǹkan lọ sí Germany ní oṣù yẹn. So ìgbà yẹn ni wọ́n pín essential commodities.
Okay.
Then we had I think it was the Buhari period or something. So mo wá wà ní ẹnu staircase níjọ́ yẹn. Secretary wa, mi lè gbàgbé orúkọ lady yẹn. because of how phenomenal to me that situation was, mo ìrántí, her name was Shade Astro.
Okay.
So she was our receptionist rather. So wà nísàlẹ̀ ló wá ń sọ fún èmi, wà ní head of the stair, ó wá ń sọ fún ọ̀kan lára àwọn security yẹn pé gbé àwọn essential commodities kó lọ sọ́dọ̀ Festus Adedayo, MD's messenger. Mo wá dúró, mo wá wòkè.
Oh, they employ you as a messenger.
No, I was a clerk. I had all my results at a go, so I was a clerk, but I was working as a messenger.
Yeah.
So, so messenger ni me. That week, mo gba form Ibadan Polytechnic SRK campus, because as at that time admission was late. Wọ́n fún mi admission, mo resign kúrò ní Bureaus before Baba Akeola could come back from Germany. So when I finished my ONG, àwa lọ parí second year, ìgbà yẹn náà ṣe rationalization of courses.
Okay.
I ṣe ní main campus ní Ìbàdàn bí.
Okay.
So I finished 1987. So mo tún wá padà sí Bureaus to do my IT. So 1988, I now started afresh at the University of Lagos to study philosophy. It was an interesting thing that happened I just wanted to go to the university.
Okay.
It wasn't as if I knew what philosophy was all about. I actually wanted to study law or mass communication, but I didn't get I wasn't a very good student.
Hey.
I wasn't brilliant.
Hey.
So I didn't get the cutoff for mass com or law. So for philosophy. But my father didn't want me to go and study philosophy. He was apprehensive. The reason
I prefer law.
I think later I found out what the man wanted was a mini firstborn one.
Okay.
So, and a policeman, he wasn't earning much. He wanted me to finish early so that I could start working. Can they help one below my younger, ones. So I remember my father would go to Tomalo Sodo àwọn pé ẹdúró ọmọ yìí ò fẹ́ lọ ṣe philosophy. Kí ló fẹ́ fi ṣe? Àwọn kan ní you become a priest. Àwọn kan ní tó bá jáde liability lọ́mọ yẹn á jẹ́ kò ní ríṣẹ́ o.
Obviously àwọn kan ò mọ̀.
Ò mọ̀. So pé in fact wọn ò lè gbágan as a teacher because kò ṣe any teaching subject. So it was so bad that my father, there was an issue between my father and me because over it. Mo láti owó tí mo gbà ní Bureaus nígbà tí mo ṣe internship mo fi sanwó school. I think it was 44 something naira. That 42 naira lówó school. Láti dáàdi mi wá rí pé mo serious about it. So he allowed me to go. So it affected my result in first year. Second year, I didn't do too well because I kept on asking myself, kí ni mo fẹ́ ṣe tí n bá parí? Philosophy iṣẹ́ o ni mo fẹ́ fi ṣe. So I remember one day, I was mo wà nínú library University of Lagos. I was in year 2. Ìgbà yẹn ni Tayo Awotunsi àti Chris Modibe, teacher still ọ̀pá wọn ní Liberia. So I was just reading, I think it was Daily Times. Mo wá rí pé Chris Modibe ó jáde ní department mi ní 1988 àbí 87 1984 ló jáde ní philosophy University of Lagos. Mo kọ dìde nínú library.
Okay.
I can be a journalist. I can be a journalist.
So loudly.
Mo sọ loudly. I can be a journalist. So mo wá rántí pé before then tí máa kọ essay. And when I was like, this boy, you write well. So I was banking on that. But look, if I continued writing, so láti join every morning, tí daddy mi bá send me from pocket money, I'll use it to type my article. Mo lọ sí Punch, mo lọ sí Guardian. So the very first day, tí Guardian published article, it was one of my greatest days of
life. And articles tí wọ́n kì í wò.
Of course, I used to write several, only publish it. Okay. But this particular day, it was published.
Kill a compare.
I can't remember. Guardian on Sunday. So, and then Adedayo is a student of philosophy, University of Lagos. So people now began to know me. So I didn't stop. I kept on writing. I remember the day I took my article to Dr. Olatunji Dare in The Guardian. The secretary said, oh yeah, Lati Bomoni, University of Lagos. So I met him. He went through the article. Are you sure you wrote it? Money Benisa? I did. But I don't publish article. I was. So before I knew, by the time I was leaving University of Lagos in 1992, I'd written so many articles. I remember in 1991, May 11, 1991, for Punch, I was still a student. I think I was in part 3. I wrote Punch on Saturday, published my article on Bob Marley, a decade after. Okay. I think the title was Bob Marley, a decade after, by Festus Adedayo. 4 pages.
Wow.
So by the time I finished in 1992, it was clear to me that I was going to be a journalist. Okay. When I went for my youth service named Yelwa Yauri, Kebbi State, 1992-93, I remember I wrote a piece that actually caused panic in the town. The title was Yelwa Yauri, a town of filth and something, I can't remember. My friend, Mohammed Babakura, I think he became a commissioner of police. He was my roommate. So he still reminds me of that piece till today. Because the Yauri people were saying that I painted their town bad. It was published by The Week magazine. Okay. So gradually, I remember after 1993, by that time, Daddy mi ti move lọ sí Àkúrẹ́, our town. By then, also kí gbogbo àwọn ọlọ́pàá máa lọ sí their states of origin, and so he retired.
But want to accept him as a journalist.
Yeah,
and he was happy.
So I mean, what nǹkan tuntun wà interesting ni pé let me tell you one very distressing situation. Ọ̀rẹ́ mi kan, he's not a judge. His name is Justice Femi Oyemi. He was my roommate at the University of Lagos. He came from University of Benin to University of Lagos, so we were escorting him. I think it was Shode in the hall. So he was studying geography or something. Ne Uniben, Owashi direct entry, and came to Unilag to study law. So ọmọ Àkúrẹ́ ni. So tó bá ti ń lọ lé màá ní ẹjọ́ kan tí the first day ta lọ. Jọba mi yá ọ̀dọ̀ wa lókè Ìjẹ̀bú because my father's house is at Òkè Ìjẹ̀bú. Bá mi rí dáàdì mi kó bá mi gba nǹkan wálé tó máa fún ẹ food store. So for a long time, my friend didn't tell me this story. So the first day, so when he got there, dáàdì mi wá ní okay ó dọ̀bálẹ̀ òkè dáàdì mi. Báwo ni? Ó ní látọ̀dọ̀ Festus. University of Lagos. Báwo ni? How is school? Ó lọ fine. Ìwọ náà ṣe ibẹ̀ ló wà? Ó ní bẹ́ẹ̀ ni. Course wo ló ń ṣe? Ó ní law ni. Ó ní my dáàdì mi dẹ̀ wo òkè báyìí pé àpòdẹ̀ sọ fún Festus kó náà ṣe law. You know, as at that time. So now when newspapers started publishing my articles, sometimes on Sunday I'll be published in 3 newspapers. So that means I copy pass. My son wrote, see, this is my son. So gradually, nǹkan tún ṣẹlẹ̀. So 1993, after I finished my youth service, ọ̀rẹ́ mi kan, who was my very good friend, and my roommate from year 1 to year 4 at the University of Lagos, wọ́n post òun wá sí Ìbàdàn lọ́yọ̀ state fún youth service. Wọ́n post èmi wá lọ sí Yauri, Kebbi State. So òun wá gba form postgraduate college UI. Ó gba form sọ àwọn méjèèjì ká ṣe pole science, masters pole science. Wọ́n mú mi, wọ́n mú. So as at that time, my father had retired. So ìgbà tán retire, ebi pa, ṣé mo kò ní sí gratuity, kò ní sí salary. And thank God my father was also a farmer. wọ́n máa ń lọ sí village wa nílùú àbò cultivate cocoa, ẹ̀gẹ́ gbogbo ẹ̀. So at that time mọ́mì mi á ṣe fùfú, wọ́n á ṣe gàrí, màá gbé cocoa, mo máa ń gbé lọ sí school náà. Lọ sí, and imagine that ní University of Lagos kí ẹ máa gbé cocoa lọ. So ó wá di, wọ́n wá fún mi lá admission. Mi bá mo ṣe fẹ́ sọ fún bàbá yìí. Èmi gan rí situation ni. Agbára la fi ń jẹ, a jẹ fùfú láàárọ̀, a jẹ lọ́sàn-án, a jẹ lálẹ́ ni. Bá mo ṣe fẹ́ sọ fún bàbá yìí pọ́n ti fún mi lá admission. After 1 week, tí lẹ́tà yẹn ti wà lọ́wọ́, mo kàn sọ́mọ̀ encourage ìrọ̀lẹ́ kan ní bàbá. Wọ́n ti tún fún mi lá admission UI. Bàbá yẹn wò kẹ́ báyìí. Wá ọ̀tá, okay, wọ́n wá ní àwọn bọ̀ àwọn fẹ́ jáde. So ìgbà tó di ìrọ̀lẹ́ tán dé around 7 wọ́n ní masters tó ló fẹ́ ṣe wàá lọ, máa tún mu gàrí ẹ̀. Mi ò gbàgbé ọ̀rọ̀ tí bàbá yẹn sọ 1993 or early 94. Ìgbà tí mo wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣiṣẹ́, màá sọ̀rọ̀ Tribune o, mo ṣe dé Tribune. So ìgbà mo wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣiṣẹ́ 2003 Ọlọ́run á ṣàánú mi. Mo ṣe advert kan, mo ṣe pull out kan, pè ní supplement ni. So ọ̀rẹ́ mi tí mo sọ pé roommate mi Mohammed Babakura, ó ti wá di ADC governor of Borno State, Kachala.
Okay.
Governor Kachala. Yeah. So òun ló ti wá ti di ADC. So wá ṣá link, mo ṣá ṣe supplement for state, mo wá rí àwọn nǹkan tá à ń pè ní kí la máa ń pè wá rí commission lórí ẹ̀. Commission yẹn ṣá pọ̀ because it was a major one. Wọ́n ra small car kan fún dáàdì mi.
Ẹ ra mọ́tò fún wọn?
Mo ra mọ́tò fún wọn, mo wá gbé lọlé. Èmi àtàbúrò mi, cousin mi kan lájọ gbé mọ́tò yẹn lọlé ńjọ́ yẹn. A ṣe gbé délé, bàbá ní mọ́tò ẹ̀ kọ́ ẹ̀ because as at that time náà ti ra bluebird kékeré kan white. Mọ́tò ẹ̀ kọ́ rẹ̀, mo ní bàbá ẹjọ́ ẹ jẹ́ kán fún mi lóúnjẹ náà, ebi ń pa. That was around 12 lọ́sàn. Wọ́n gbóúnjẹ fún mi, mo jẹ oúnjẹ tán. Wọ́n ní ṣé ẹni tó lè gbé wa lọ sí car park wà? Wọ́n ló wà. Wọ́n pe mechanic kan nínú ilé wọn, mo wá ní ẹgbà bàbá. Wọ́n ní kí lélẹ̀? Ní kọ́kọ́rọ́ ni. Wọ́n ní kí lélẹ̀? Mo ní ṣe ìrántí gàrí tẹ́ ẹ mu nígbà yẹn, gàrí yẹn rẹ̀. Omi dẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí bọ́ lójú bàbá ìpòrò. Àwọn òbí lè pa àwọn lè lo mọ́tò títí ayérayé.
So wọ́n lo mọ́tò ńgbà tó wà ní
At that time, ọ̀kadà ni wọ́n lò. He was using a motorcycle. And to the glory of God, mo ra mọ́tò yẹn fún un. Ìgbà tó tún di 3 years after, Ọlọ́run tún ṣàánú mi. Mo ní kọ́ńtà mo tún rà mí fún un. Ìkẹta ni mo fẹ́ rà fún ọ nígbà tó lọ́jọ́ dé. So journalism, bí mo ṣe kúrò ní Yauri àti mo ṣe masters mi ní UI, mo tún bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí kọ́ náà ni.
Now, sir, mo fẹ́ sáré yàwọ̀ bìkan bẹ́ẹ̀. Show me pé course téèyàn ṣe ní university àbí ìwé téèyàn kà, show me pé kò really matter. Ntọ́lọ́run fẹ́ ṣe ó fẹ́ ṣe. Àbò matter.
Ṣé rí èmi ní situation tèmi, nǹkan tó wá show me at the end of the day ni pé ṣé rí kẹ́dà ṣáà máa sapá nǹkan tí kó dẹ̀ make sure pé òun aim for the best. Because bí mo ṣe paint picture tí mo paint sílẹ̀, I was distressed that I was studying philosophy, but I kept on. So I told you the story of how Chris Imodibe's and death propelled me into journalism. But I kept on, writing because I wanted an outlet out of the course that I was studying. But I didn't know that course would define me for life. Because today, Timba column me. If I write an article, anybody come and boy philosophy will study.
Yeah.
And I remember so mo parí masters in 1995, but my classmate then, who is now a professor, Wale Adebayo,
Okay.
Àjọ wà ní àjọ ṣe pole science UN ó wá rí gbogbo àwọn tí mò ń kọ. Boy, àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ òun wà ní Tribune and they are looking for a journalist, a senior reporter.
Ẹ̀dẹ̀ ṣọ̀wá lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ń gbà yẹn.
No. By that time, ibi ni mo ti ṣe masters Ìbàdàn.
Okay, UI.
UI.
Okay, wúlẹ̀ padà sẹ́kọ̀ọ́ mọ́.
Mi ò padà sẹ́kọ̀ọ́. UI ni mo ti ṣe masters. So mo parí 1995. I think I finished. Mi ò tí ì parí tí wọ́n sọ pé wọ́n ń wá èèyàn ní Tribune. So mo bá lọ bẹ̀. Mo rántí ìjọ́ tí mo lọ sí Tribune. Mo sọ fáwọn roommates mi ní UI pé mo kàn fẹ́ lọ, wọ́n fẹ́ lọ ṣe bóyá wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe interview fún mi. But mo ṣe débẹ̀ mo bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí wọ́n bá ní kí n máa bá wọn ṣiṣẹ́. Ìgbà tó dalẹ́, the editor, Mr. Ṣẹ́gun Ọlátúnjí, pastor, who has a PhD now. Ó bá mú mi lọ sọ́dọ̀ editor-in-chief, Mr. Abiodun Oduwole. One of his friends, Mr. Shinan Kawonishe, was also with the editor-in-chief. So no bá ní ṣé boy yẹn rèé mo ní bẹ́ẹ̀ sá. Bá ní, do you have any journalism experience? Kí n dẹ̀ tó kúrò ní hostel mi, mo ti ṣe photocopy of just 100. Mo kàn select 100 of my published articles. So mo select 100, mo ṣe gbé fún ni. Guardian, Punch, this Ṣẹ́gun, let him start work immediately. So bí mo ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ journalism journey mi nìyẹn. At the Nigerian Tribune, and to the glory of God, 1995. Of course, 1997, I had to branch out of Tribune. Àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ mi, Dr. Ṣẹ́gun Ọlátúnjí, Bọ̀dé Ọ̀pẹ́ṣèyítán, now Professor Adéolú Àkàndé, Wálé Adébáwí, they had issues with the Tribune. So wọ́n láti lọ start paper tiwọn ní Ring Road níbí. Ní Olúsànyà níbí, called Omega Weekly. And so ẹ má gbàgbé pé mo sọ pé Wálé Adébáwí ló bá mi get iṣẹ́ Tribune. So the moment he said he was pulling out, I also resigned from the Tribune.
Tribune ò tí ní issues wọn gbà yẹn.
Of course, kò sí paper tí ò kì í ní issue. So at that time, they funded the paper.
Ṣé bí kò pẹ́ ní Tribune rárá?
Ẹ máa gbọ́, so mo dé Tribune 85. 87 ni wọ́n lọ fund Omega. So I resigned from Tribune. 97.
Okay.
So I left for Omega in 1997.
Okay.
So nígbà ayé Abacha, we had issues. We were being pursued all over the place. Mo rántí pé ìgbà kan tí wọ́n fẹ́ wá arrest wa l'Omega, aláti kó gbogbo equipment wa lọ sí ilé mi, mo ń gbé Akínyẹmí ńgbà yẹn, mo ń gbé 2-bedroom flat. Ibẹ̀ láti ń typeset. Àwa kó gbogbo ẹ̀ wọ́n lọ print ní Lẹ́kọ̀ọ́. But at some point we ran into issues, financial issues. So I lè continue láti máa print on. But tó dẹ̀ débẹ̀, got so good, Mr. Abiodun Oduwole. I came back to Tribune. Ó dẹ̀ gbà mí.
Okay.
So I came back to Tribune 1998.
Ẹ̀yin nìkan?
Èmi, virtually all of us, that one been on. Pastor Ṣẹ́gun Ọlátúnjí also came back. I think Bọ̀dé Ọ̀pẹ́ṣèyítán came back, but Wálé Adébáwí àti Adéolú Àkàndé branched into the academy. They became lecturers at the University of Lagos, of Ibadan.
Okay.
So I came back to Tribune 1998. By 1999, I became features editor of the Tribune. 2000, features editor / editorial page editor. By the time I left Tribune, I actually left Tribune in 2003 as a deputy editor. That was when I get a appointment as Mokobere as special assistant on public communication to the governor of Enugu State. And by the time I left, I was special advisor on media.
All right. So, kí n tó padà wá sí orí contracts àbí appointments ní Enugu. Tí ẹ bá wà propelled ní international bureaus pẹ̀lú statement ẹni ẹ make pé give the essential commodities to
MD's messenger.
Pé wọ́n ti promote iná dẹ̀dẹ̀dẹ̀.
Ṣé rí nǹkan tẹ́ ẹ sọ yìí ó mú mi rántí because I studied. What I actually went to study at the Polytechnic Ibadan was secretarial administration. That's why nísìnyí tẹ́ bá gbé tí ẹ bá rí mi lórí
Typewriter.
laptop àbí
Okay.
typewriter, I type, dexterity me is out of this one. Ọ̀rẹ́ mi Dr. Lasisi Olagunjo, he types it one time. Ó máa envy mi ní tó bá rí mi bó ṣe ń type. So mo rántí our personnel manager ngbà yẹn, Mr. Olamilokun, is late now. So he was so fascinated by the fact pé boy yìí kò lò few months ló lò ní IBL, ó resign ó lọ sí school, ó tún padà ó wá ṣe o. So ìjọ kan wá mú mi dání, ó mú mi lọ sí, a máa ń pè bẹ́ẹ̀ ní typing pool, you know, àwọn ladies who were there, my colleagues, wọ́n ní ẹ wo boy dáadáa, ṣé ẹ pé ojú yín ló wà ẹjọ́ wà ń bì, boy lọ sí school tó ṣe OND, ó ń ṣe IT báyìí, nígbà tó bá yá awádọ̀gá léyìn lórí ẹ̀ máa complain pé you know favoritism, because but this guy is going to school, but tí lady yẹn ò bá, you know, I think it's just it's his destiny.
Okay.
Tí ò bá sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ bóyá màá dúró
bóyá
mi bá dẹ̀ pàpà lọ, because as at that time I was a young boy and mo fẹ́ lọ sí school.
Ojú tèmi tí wàá fi wọ ni pé àwọn connections tẹ ẹ ní, àwọn connections tẹ establish ní school ni.
Yes, and that's why tí mo máa ń sọ pé ṣe rí ilé èèyàn gbọ́dọ̀ forsake little beginnings èèyàn. Ọ̀rẹ́ mi Mohammed Babakura, he was, as I told you, he was my roommate ní Yauri. Ifá mo rántí pé I'm a very good friend. Èmi ni níjọ́ tí ó fẹ́ introduce me sí Mala Kachala governor. When Your Excellency, this boy taught me how to eat amala. Yẹn are you sure he taught you how to eat amala? Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Tèmi bá ń bọ̀ láti ilé, máa gbé èlùbọ́ dání tí mo gbé lọ sílẹ̀ Haúsá. So ìjọ́ tí mo kọ́kọ́ gbé èlùbọ́ wá sínú yàrá wa ló bá ní, what is this black stuff? And they said it's the peel. Pé tán bá epo iṣu náà fi máa ṣe, mo ní no, it's the yam inside. So àwa ro àmàlà, mo dẹ̀ mú àmàlà rò. Àwọn colleagues wa kọ́pà wọ́n wá bá ṣe àwọn, I remember lady kan ń dìdì, wọ́n bá wa ṣe ọbẹ̀ ẹ̀gúsí, àwa sẹ́kúràn, mo tún lọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ kan náà ọmọ Kogi ni Mọ́pà Ayam, àwa surround the ọbẹ̀, àwa ń jẹ lónìí. This is what you people are eating. Mohammed, come and try this thing. Ló bá ṣáà mú reluctantly, ó bá mú tíntín, ó jẹ báyìí. Look sweet o. So àtijọ́ yẹn a jọ parí gbogbo èlùbọ́ yẹn. So tí n bá ti ń lọ báyìí ní bring amala. So connection. And I remember I also tell you one story. Mohammed Babakura became a top guy in the police and became a top person in the FCC. In 2007, 2008, my boss, Governor Chimaroke Nomani, you know, arrested by the EFCC. So, and I wanted to show him, ẹyẹlé ò ní bóníjẹ́lé jẹ kó bónílé mu kó dọjọ́ ìkúnlẹ̀ kó ní tí onílé ṣe jẹ́. So I was always going with him. Moroti Joe, the last day, I followed him to the EFCC place, and that was the day he was arrested. Èmi pẹ́ kí n tó débẹ̀, àṣedébẹ̀ ni. Mo ṣáà ń gbọ́, I arrest you in the name of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I mean, okay, calm. Nígbà tí màá wẹ̀yìn wá, Mohammed Babakura, you are the one arresting my boss. Orere, Festus. You know, we had to also, and we lost contact thereafter. You know, my very good friend. So it tells me we could be the foundation of bí mo ṣe believe pé no race, no tribe ló wà inherently bad.
Yeah.
My short stay mi lẹ́nugun ó show mi pé àwọn èèyàn tó burú nínú gbogbo ẹ̀yà ni wọ́n wà. Stay mi lẹ́nugun mo rí àwọn Igbo tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n lè yọ ojú wọn fún èèyàn, wọn ò dẹ̀ mind bóyá Yorùbá ní àbá Hausa. ó ti lè change ó dàbẹ̀ nípò ti change báyìí o
àwọn èèyàn kan ṣì
but
máa
àwọn kan ìwà
tribalism ẹ̀ ṣì
ó ìwà ó strong ó wá
àfa
burú
àwọn
sí
kan wà tó
gan
jẹ́ Yorùbá tó yẹ pé they don't want to see Igbos.
ṣẹ́ẹ̀rí ó wá burú gan ṣẹ́ẹ̀rí ẹ jẹ́ fún yín ní story kan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ mo sọ fún yín pé nígbà tí mo dé Enugu special assistant public communication ni mi sí governor ó wá di 2005 2003 mo dé Enugu ó wá di 2005 ẹ mọ̀ a máa ń travel pẹ̀lú governor a máa ń gba allowance wherever tá bá lọ governor wá fi máa kan ó fi ṣe chief press secretary as head of the media orúkọ ẹ̀ ń jẹ́ Osita Ogwuoti àti Enugu State University of Technology ESUT ni wọ́n ti mú wá kó wá di PRO wọn ni níbẹ̀ kó wá di chief press secretary sí governor àwa tá a dẹ̀ jẹ́ core media unit afẹ́ tó bí 7 big people talking of Nana Ogbodo Charlie Agbo Obiora Ifo current press publicity secretary Labour Party Dan Wome gbogbo àwọn big guys èmi nìkan ní the only Yorùbá so chief press secretary wọ́n máa ń cut allowance wa la bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí kí pé irú nonsense wo lélẹ̀ so àmọ́ pé òkìkí ti kàn dọ́dọ̀ governor pé àwọn intelligentsia we were like the intelligentsia of the governor pé rebellion ti wà láàrin wọn ṣáà pé gbogbo àńjọ yẹn pé kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ aṣáà disclose ẹ̀ tán wá dàárọ̀ ọjọ́ kejì mo wà gbogbo àwọn àjọ ọ́fíìsì mi torí ọ́fíìsì governor rẹ̀ ọ́fíìsì ti press rẹ̀ ọ̀kan lára àwọn SSS ní ọ̀gá béèrè mi gbà lọ bá déwájú governor I think it should be around 8 a.m. ẹni Adedayo I've told Osita Ogwuoti to hand over to you as the special adviser of media mo ṣáà ń wò báyìí special adviser of media èmi láti possible n bá bọ́ síta mi ò dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ mi ò ṣe mo ṣáà bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé mò ń lálàá ni n bá dé ta làwọn ọ̀rẹ́ mi bá ní kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ wetin governor talk he said I should be the head of the media àwọn Igbo dẹ̀ gbé mi sókè bá Adedayo wọ́n ṣe sáàkì Igbo ẹgbẹ́ wọn wọ́n ní kí Yorùbá wá take over the position wọ́n dẹ̀ ń celebrate.
ṣó lè ṣẹlẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ń bí mo dá òtẹ́.
ṣó lè ṣẹlẹ̀ ń bẹ̀ mọ́ gan báyìí.
ṣé wọ́n ti lè allow Yorùbá person gan láti take over.
nígbà tí mo di SA media governor Ajimobi bí àwọn kan gbógun pé abáwọn lọmọ Ondo state àṣewáṣe SA media lọ́yọ̀ state.
nílẹ̀ Yorùbá kan náà.
nílẹ̀ Yorùbá àwọn tán dẹ̀ mọ bí Enugu ṣe rí nígbà yẹn the 4 years tí mo lò sí by the time tá a parí ní 2007 tí èèyàn márùn bá close sí governor mo wà lára àwọn èèyàn márùn yẹn because every day a rí mi a béèrè kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ màá fún ní briefing in the media and he protected me from àwọn hawks of the system. And I tell you Enugu State my 4-year stay in Enugu was about the best I've ever had. Of course, that was the very first time tí màá dé Igbo land. Mo bímọ méjì when I was in Enugu and mo dẹ̀ fún wọn lórúkọ Igbo because ìgbà mo wà lẹ́nugu mo ráwọn Igbo tó àwọn náà burú o táwọn náà burú to amen to them but àwọn Igbo tí wọ́n who took me to who saw my humanity as the most desirable than my tribe àwọn ló pọ̀ jù.
But Lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ nsìn this statement Lagos is no man's land ó ń jẹ́ kí a lot of Yorùbás kí wọ́n máa fọ̀nà lé hàn àwọn Igbo pé no it's not
bẹ́ẹ̀ni
ṣó wà justified.
èmi rò pé ṣe rí níbi méjèèjì náà ni nǹkan ti wọ́ wá ẹ mọ̀ pé wọ́n sọ pé amókun ẹ̀rù ẹ̀wọ̀ ó ní òkèlè ń wo ẹ̀wò sàlẹ̀ èmi rò pé overreach wà lára àwọn tí àwọn Igbo kan táwọn náà wà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ torí mi rò pé ó yẹ kéèyàn máa fi how do I put it kí ẹ máa tọ́ǹtì àwọn àkàlejò máa tọ́ǹtì onílé pé Èkó gbogbo wa lájọ ní Èkó. Èkó has been good to everybody. Ó dáa sájòjì, ó dáa sónílé. Kì í ṣe pé kẹ́ wá máa flaunt ẹ̀, kẹ́ wá máa fi the fact of your kí lorúkọ ẹ̀ kẹ́ fi máa tọ́ǹtì àwọn onílé. Nígbà táwa ń gbé Enugu, a lè débẹ̀ ká sọ pé torí Yorùbá pọ̀ ní Enugu gan. Yes.
Mo fẹ́ béèrè náà pé ṣe ní relationship pẹ̀lú the Yorùbá community.
Gan bàbá kan wọ́n máa ń pè wọ́n ní bàbá òmìnira, àwọn náà ń ta àmàlà ní Owerri road ní Enugu. Bàbá yẹn wọ́n mú mi bí ọmọ ni. Àwọn Yorùbá community wọ́n máa ń wá mi wá, and tẹ́ bá rí ẹ lè wà ní street Enugu báyìí tí wọ́n á máa sọ Yorùbá, especially tẹ́ bá dé kí lorúkọ ọjà wọn yìí, àwọn èèyàn wá pọ̀ ńbẹ̀ gan. Ìjọ́ kan wà mo lọ sí village kan lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ Ọ̀zàlà, wọ́n ń pè ní Obe. Mo bá débẹ̀, àwọn boys kan ṣe tiles lọ́wọ́, mo ń gbọ́ tán kọrin Fuji. Ẹ̀yin ọmọ ìyá mi kílẹ̀ wá dé, wọ́n ní ẹ̀gbọ́n kílẹ̀ yín náà wá ṣe bí. Ṣé mọ̀, àwọn èèyàn wa máa ń ṣiṣẹ́ gan, àwọn artisans wa, iṣẹ́ wọn fine gan, so wọ́n prefer láti kó wọn wá láti bí lọ sọ́dọ̀ wọn, and in the process àwọn èèyàn wa náà máa ń wà carried away by ẹ mọ̀ pé àwọn ọmọ Igbo máa ń fine gan, so many of them went into marriages with Igbo people. But mi wàá mọ̀ bóyá òyìn ṣẹlẹ̀ báyìí since I left the place, so many of them ẹ rí wọn Yorùbá, Igbo níyàwó wọn.
Ṣà ń rí àwọn Yorùbá tí wọ́n ní street, tí wọ́n name streets after.
Yes, streets tí wọ́n name after Yorùbá people ó wà l'Enugu. Even Hausa, tẹ́ bá lọ sí somewhere on Independence Avenue, ẹ rí Bisala Road. That's named after the same General Elia Bisala tí wọ́n execute the Major General Bisala. It's a major road in Enugu. Yorùbá streets wà l'Enugu. Mi ò kàn rántí the particular street. Yorùbá streets wà l'Enugu. And Enugu people are very, very hospitable. Very, very hospitable. Enugu ni mo lọ tó fi jẹ́ pé téèyàn bá ṣe ọbẹ̀ fún mi téèpo bá wà pọ̀ lórí ẹ̀ bá mi ò lè jẹ torí ẹ mọ̀ ọbẹ̀ Igbo kì í sépo ńbẹ̀. And then my boss then Dr. Namani níjọ́ kan ló béèrè lọ́wọ́ mi pé ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pé téèpo bá pọ̀ jù lọ ó predispose èèyàn to heart disease. You know, I'm a medical doctor, so why do your people like money? It's a culture. I'm Fola Jepo.
I'm Fola Jepo. Okay. Now, mo rí pé ẹ̀yin tí ẹ jẹ́ journalist, nǹkan tí ẹ máa sábà aim for ni kẹ́ reappointment as either SA media, communications and all that. Ẹ ti mọ̀ wípé appointment ẹ máa wà rí.
Ṣé tí o?
Ti Enugu ṣe ti pray fún. Ṣe hope fún.
Èmi as at that time, mi ò ever rò. I was just excited doing my job. Ọlọ́run dẹ̀ lift me ní Tribune. I started off, ó di pé kí n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí kọ column. First and foremost, mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí kọ column ní 1998 by accident. Ọ̀rẹ́ mi Túndé Babalọ́lá lájọ wà ní, òun wà ní Sunday Tribune. Nígbà mo padà sí Tribune from Omega. Òun ló ń kọ column page 3 Sunday Tribune. Ó ń pè ní Aside Views. So èmi wà ní political desk. Èmi àti Ọláwálé Rasheed, current SA àbí chief
press secretary.
Governor Ọ̀ṣun. Àti Bisi Abidoye was our political editor. So ó kàn wá dijọ́ yẹn. So Túndé Babalọ́lá fẹ́ lọ sí leave. Ó wá pè mí pé, ó wá wò pé ta ló lè máa hold fort in his absence. I think maybe 3 weeks leave. Ó wá lọ sọ fún editor Mr. Fẹ́mi Adéòtí pé Festus ni kó máa kọ column yẹn in his absence. A ní why me? Mo ṣáà bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí kọ first one, mo kọ second, mo kọ third one. Gbà tí Túndé resume pé wá gba column ẹ̀ wá ní òun ti béèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn èèyàn ó lè mí ni mo lè kọ́ kí n máa continue. So bí mo ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ ni o, and to the glory of God, that column ó di gbajúgbajà tó jẹ́ pé mo rántí editor mi ń gbà yẹn Mr. Ṣẹ́gun Ọlátúnjí ní Festus mo lọ sí event everybody kàn ń béèrè ní Festus Adedayo kọ́ Festus Adedayo. Of course, you know, in journalism need the godfather. Nǹkan tó bá kọ ni á pòkìkí ẹ̀. Gradually mo rántí ní year 2000 or so, if I'm not mistaken, Lenugu there was a crisis. There was adoration tragedy, what they call the adoration tragedy. Tí àwọn èèyàn kú ní Father Mbaka's prayer center, stampede. So of course, àwọn opposition Lenugu sọ pé Nnamani ni ó rán àwọn goons ẹ̀ wá síbẹ̀ pé àwọn náà scare náà yìnbọn sókè táwọn èèyàn did stampede. I think many people died. So I remember in my column I wrote against Nnamani. And kò pẹ́ sígbà yẹn, you know, àwọn governors máa ń ṣe facility tour. So mo kàn discover pé wọ́n ní kí n wá Enugu facility tour. Àwọn abálọ́bẹ̀. I remember we came on Friday. On Saturday morning, the governor was going to take us around the projects tó ń ṣe. So I wà ní ESCO chamber. Gbogbo àwa journalists, editors tá wà bẹ̀. Wọ́n wá ní ká máa introduce ara wa. Mo wá dìde, my name is Festus Adedayo. Governor continued, Adedayo, I read your column every week. I'm your fan. Débi pé wọ́n gbé boss tí gbogbo àwa editors wà náà. ADC governor gbà yẹn, his name is Ifeanyi Uche. Only commissioner of police in charge of cyber security now. That was his ADC. So what tap glass? Who is Adedayo among you? Me, I'm the one. The governor said he wants to ride with you. So Morati coupe car come by. The governor was driving. No one leg back. So we began talking. What do you do? Money, I started my PhD. Oh, that's interesting. What's your area of research? I told him. So I shall sorry be lati. Mo pe be lo ti identify. Okay. So kò wá pẹ́ sígbà yẹn. Governor Olusegun Agagu became governor, you know, in my state. Àwọn bàbá wọ́n ṣá recommend me fún to be his chief press secretary.
Governor Agagu.
Governor Agagu. So I met him. He was going to make me chief press secretary. But ìjọ́ tí wọ́n di governor tán sú àwọn yìí, wọ́n bá dárúkọ mi as press secretary. There was a chief press secretary. Àwa bíi mẹ́ta mẹ́rin press secretaries mẹ́ta mẹ́rin, and I said it was beneath me. So wọ́n announce orúkọ mi on radio and in the newspapers. So announcement ẹni Governor Nnamani rí ló kà nínú paper. So wá ní kí SCN gbà yẹn Igboneku Ogazimora kó pè mí pé he was offering me an appointment. I should not take that one. Okay. But that was too small for me. So mo rántí ìjọ́ tí mo wá lọ meet Governor Nnamani Lenugu bí a ṣe jókòó náà ni. Adedayo, I'm offering you the position of special assistant. I'm going to give you a car. I'll give you a house. I'll give. Your Excellency, let me pray about it. So, okay, fine, go and pray about it. So, Modele, could you bear the second day not to announce support? But then I was not in a dilemma. Okay. As at that time, I had become deputy editor in the Tribune with the prospect that I could be an editor. And mo wá lọ sílé àjòjì ilẹ̀ tí mi ò mọ̀.
Editor or position to hide in the printer.
That's the desire of every reporter. Àwa náà ti ṣọmọṣẹ́ káwa náà dọ̀gá. So as at that time, mo ti ń wo pé probability pé mi náà dé editor. Wọ́n á ní kí n lọ sí ilẹ̀ Igbo níbi tí mi ò dé rí. In fact, ètò wà interesting ni pé ìjọ́ tí Ogazimora pè mí pé kí n wá pé nǹkan tí governor sọ ìyá mi kọ́lọ̀ fọ̀rùn kẹ́wọ̀n. Wọ́n wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ mi bá ní gbọ́ nǹkan tí mo gbọ́. Wọ́n ní kí ni? Wọ́n ní kí n wá ṣe essay nílẹ̀ ọmọ Igbo. Ó ní orí àwọn kọ̀ ibi tí wọ́n ti ń jẹ̀yàn yẹn so ìyá tó ní ibi tí wọ́n ti ń jẹ̀yàn ó wá kí wa lẹ́nugu bí ẹ̀ẹ̀mejì pé ibi dẹ̀ dá o
àìdébẹ̀ ni ò jẹ́
àìdébẹ̀ ni ò jẹ́ kí ìyá mọ̀ pé and it became till today mo rántí ìgbà tí mo lọ sẹ́nugu mo máa ń sọ fáwọn ẹ̀ pé tí máa rá àwọn èèyàn tí wọ́n ń betray ọ̀gá nílẹ̀ Yorùbá táwa ti wá ẹyẹlé ò ní bónílé jẹ kó bónílé mu kó dọjọ́ ìkúnlẹ̀ kẹyẹlé wá sọ pé báwo ni tọ̀gá ò ṣe jẹ́ báwo àìṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n ó ti wá di tọrọ fọ́nkálé nílẹ̀ Yorùbá náà báyìí so gbogbo gbà yẹn I was with him gbogbo nǹkan tó ń go through I was with him àtúnwẹ̀yìn by Festus Yorùbá people stand.
àwọn tẹjọ ṣiṣẹ́ most of them.
gbogbo àwọn èèyàn ti abandon ẹ̀ in fact àwọn èèyàn máa ń sọ fún gbà nǹkan tó máa ń sọ fún ni pé tó bá ti rí pé ilé ó tún ti lọ sórí sẹ́yìn Sullivan because Sullivan was our attorney general. And I remember tí Governor Nnamani bá rí mi lẹ́nu á ní Adedayo you misled me into choosing Sullivan kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ ìjọ kan mo wà nílé lẹ́nugun ADC kan pè mí ní Adedayo ọ̀gá said you should meet him at Orange jẹ́ code name fún ibi tí governor ti máa gym because ó máa ń lọ gym gan láàárọ̀ so mo ti débẹ̀ 7 a.m. bí mo ṣe dé gym the governor ó ti ń step out ó wọ tracksuit so ó pe commissioner for information wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ left èmi wà right Adedayo who do you think should succeed me and that was about late 2005 or early 2006 bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣe analysis Ekweremadu used to be our SSG lẹ́nu before he was chief of staff SSG before he became senator òun náà fẹ́ succeed Nnamani late Ayo Ogweze was my colleague we were both special advisors to before he became senator òun náà fẹ́ succeed Nnamani and he was from Nsukka. But Sullivan Chime was Nnamani's classmate in secondary school, was even his lawyer, and he was a technocrat, and I felt he was the best. So after doing the analysis, I began to say, this one, Nsukka people don't like us. Your Excellency, if we pick this, there'll be this, there'll be this. But Sullivan Chime, and he agreed with me. And that was the commencement of the process of making Sullivan governor. But àmọ́ pé ọ̀tá wa tó fojú jọ rẹ ni Sullivan because her art governor tí wọ́n ti sú ẹ̀yìn gan tó ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí dismantle all the
structures.
So by the time Nnamani wá padà tó di senator ẹ̀mọ àwọn èèyàn ti lọ tán èmi nìkan mo even l'Abuja I was the only one with him àwọn èèyàn ti lọ so nǹkan tó máa ń sọ fún gbà yẹn ni pé ẹni tí ó bá mú ìmọ̀ ọ̀pẹ dání ni léwúrẹ́ máa ń wọ́tọ̀ pé so tó o bá mú palm frond dání ewúrẹ́ ò ní.
tí wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ máa rí nǹkan jẹ.
wọ́n lè bá láti máa rí nǹkan jẹ pé so o ti kúrò ní gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì nísìn bó tó bá ti wẹ̀ bá ní Adedayo.
so bí wọ́n ṣe fi lọ yín yẹn who do you think should succeed me bí bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni wọ́n ṣe máa ń discuss.
No, that is it now.
Kò sí kinní kan bàbàrà.
No, kò sí bàbàrà. Of course, yeah, pé interest wọn ni. As at that time, they become very vulnerable. Power in law. Ta ni ẹni tí ó lè carry on. Some of them will think of ẹni tó lè carry on legacy àwọn. Some of them wo ẹni tó lè protect àwọn.
Torí mess ti wà nílẹ̀.
Because mess wà. Kò sí bí mess ò ṣe ní sí. Ta ló lè protect wọn? Ta ló lè clean mess wọn? Ta ló lè wà bẹ́ẹ̀ fún wọn níjọ́ tọ́jọ́ bá
tó
pòfiri. So analysis yẹn ni mo ṣe fún.
So Sullivan deal pẹ̀lú.
Ó deal pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ gan kì í ṣe kékeré. In fact ó retired from politics until gbùrùgbùrù kí lorúkọ ẹ̀ nísìn his successor now brought Nnamani back into politics. Sullivan dealt with him.
So that explains what happens in Rivers State.
Yes.
From Rotimi Amechi.
Exactly. And that's why I always
Wike.
exactly. When the man converse me, it doesn't make sense for a governor to nominate his successor. You should allow the system, because it has shown from experience since 1999 that successors will always be the nemesis of their predecessors. It's everywhere. The only place tí ó ti ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Èkó, and nǹkan tó hold Èkó, ó go beyond nǹkan tójú lè rí. Ó go beyond nǹkan tójú lè rí.
Ṣó ju influence Tinubu lọ ni?
Èmi rò pé ó kọjá influence Tinubu. Èmi rò pé kọjá wípé a lo ọgbọ́n orí. Èmi rò pé metaphysics wà ńbẹ̀. Èrò tèmi nìyẹn o. Èmi rò pé tàbá dẹ̀ sọ pé metaphysics ti ìbílẹ̀ wà ńbẹ̀. Ẹ mọ̀ pé wọ́n máa ń swear to oath.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Blood oath.
But irú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ náà máa pọ̀ mẹ́ẹ̀ náà.
But from my knowledge of Nnamani, kò mọ nǹkan kan nípa ẹ̀. Kò mọ̀. Trust me. Kò mọ anything nípa ọ̀rọ̀ metaphysics. He was too medical doctor. Kò kàn tí ẹ believe in such things. Kò believe rárá. Kò believe.
Báwo lẹ ṣe wá ṣe immediately after Enugu lẹ wá sọ́yọ́?
No, immediately after Enugu, mo wá, Nnamani became a senator in Abuja. So I stayed with him for a while. Kí n tó wá lọ sí a newspaper called National Life, Tinubu ló ní paper.
Okay.
As chairman editorial board of National Life.
Ṣé àwọn náà appoint you directly, àbí?
Ṣé ta ni?
President Tinubu?
No. There's my MD then, ọ̀rẹ́ mi, Louis Odion, used to be editor Sunday Sun. So ìjọ kan wá interview Nnamani l'Abuja náà. So bó ṣe wá interview tansi lọ, Festus, you are a brilliant guy and people respect you in the media. Lè máa ṣe where you belong is in the media. And the federal paper kan sílẹ̀. So we want you to come and be the chairman editorial board. So that was how I became the chairman editorial board. Ọ̀kan lára àwọn ilé Tinubu lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ là ń lò.
So National Life ń run independently.
Soft cell ni.
Bí nation náà ṣe ń.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, wọ́n collapse àwọn méjèèjì.
Okay.
So National Life was being run just like Sun.
Okay.
Sun, maybe the Sun.
Ta ló ní Sun?
Oji Uzo Kalu ló ní Sun. They just wanted a soft cell. To jẹ́ pé, yes, so a máa ní political, a ní hard part of it, but mostly àwọn soft, àwọn bí irú sleaze in high places.
Okay, soft gossips.
But elevated.
Yeah.
Over elevated. Of course, had an editorial board, of which I was its chairman.
Okay.
And by the time I left, that was when the paper was also collapsing.
Chairman Ashwaju all through?
No, I never met him.
Okay.
And he never had a hand in what we were writing. Okay. Give it to him. We were writing our views. Of course, self-censorship. Now, but I never met him throughout my stay there.
So after National Life,
no, I met him before.
No,
where I went.
Yes.
Okay. So National Life ni mo wà tí wọ́n ti appoint me Ọ̀yọ́ State as the SA media to be governor.
Was there anything remarkable to share kan tó di pé wọ́n fún yín lápọ̀ntì?
Okay. What happened was mọ́tò tí mo máa ń lò wọ́n fún mi lọ́fíṣẹ́ car wọ́n boss National Life sáré. Okay. So èmi ò dẹ̀ kí mi ò like Èkó. So mo máa ń shuttle ní every day. So mo ń gbé Ẹlẹ́bú. So àwọn èèyàn máa ń mọ̀ wọ́n bá ti rí National Life. So ìjọ́ kan there was a guy we became friends. So who can stop me? Pé kí n jọ pé o máa ń ka column mi pé there's a politician tó ń wá àwọn strategy team pé and then àwọn kan dẹ̀ dárúkọ mi ní mo ní mi ò fẹ́ bá olóṣèlú kankan ṣiṣẹ́. Ó ṣáà he's also a landlord in Elebu. Ó ṣáà convince me. Ó wá ní ọ̀rẹ́ nǹkan incidentally Láìdé Adédèjì just died recently. Ọ̀rẹ́ wa, nice guy. Láìdé Adédèjì yẹn gan ló rán ẹni yẹn sí mi.
Okay.
So I now met Ajimobi in his house. I remember it was a Sunday. So àwa jókòó èmi àti wọn la jókòó síbi garage wọn gbà yẹn la ń ṣe analysis. Àwọn analysis tí wọ́n á ṣe fún wọn. He was so excited. Wow, this is brilliant. So bá ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ lọ́wọ́ àwọn strategy team wọlé. Uncle Yanjú Adégbìtẹ́, Professor Ojo, Emmanuel Ojo, Abbas Alẹ́ṣinlọ́yẹ́, Túndé Múráínà, wọ́n ṣà ń wọlé. So Ajimobi wọn ni ẹ̀hẹ̀ náà lò fún mi gbà. Ẹjọ́ yín mo ní sà ṣe mo ṣe meet ní bóyá next fortnight. So gradually mo ṣáà join wọn. So ibẹ̀ ni Ajimobi ti like me. And mo rántí pé so mo yẹn ṣiṣẹ́ mi national life but I meet every fortnight on Sundays. Bàbá dẹ̀ délé ọ̀gá ń gbà yẹn. Even when I name mommy.
Wọ́n ní fi lọ yẹn àbí.
But ṣe mọ̀ àwa náà ò ní béèrè.
Okay.
A ṣiṣẹ́ ni we were so sucked into what we were doing. A ṣe dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé a yield but we gradually ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí dóhun. Mo rántí ìjọ kan ó ti ìgbà yẹn ẹ̀mọ̀ Ajimobi ti di wọ́n ti lọ sí AD ńgbà yẹn àbí sorry not AD ACN ẹ̀mọ̀ ACN he was in ANPP before ACN. Akala tí wọ́n feel threatened. It was becoming obvious that Ajimobi was going to pose a strong opposition to Akala's bid to become for a second term. So wọ́n adijọ́ kan Ajimobi wá pè mí pé èmi ni kí n ṣe director of kí ni wọ́n máa ń pè ṣe director of campaign media. Yes. Director of media ní campaign. Ní ọ̀gá mi ò lè ṣe mo ń ṣiṣẹ́. I still work for National Life. Wọ́n ní kid, so what do we do? Èmi mama work underground, but I need the face. So no, I agree. And he agreed. So gradually, he won. And Ajimobi, I've written about this. Baba Lamo, they like me.
Okay.
Because when he was governor, I was a major thorn in his flesh. So, mo rántí ìjọ kan tó wá sí Tribune. I saw Dubai a lot. So because I was always writing against him. And so Ajimobi, the governor, a máa ń lo presidential lodge. Immediately he was sworn in. Ibẹ̀ la ti ń run. Ìgbà yẹn wọ́n renovate governor's office. Èmi now Professor Deolu Akande, Uncle Yanjú gbogbo ayẹ. So wá dijọ́ ẹ̀. Ajimobi kan pè mí, ó pe àwa mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta sókè ní presidential lodge. Wọ́n gbé diary dání. Wọ́n dẹ̀ open diary. Yes, ẹ mọ̀ pé mo láti make first appointment mi. Mo wà lọ́dọ̀ Baba Lam lánàá. Baba àwọn náà sọ mọ́ mi pé ta ló fẹ́ fi ṣe SA media. Àwọn bá ní Festus Adedayo. Wọ́n ní ọmọ ìmọ̀ bú mi pọ̀ over my dead body lọ́mọ mo ṣe SA media. Ajimobi ní bàbá mo ti ní kó resign ẹ gbàgbé ẹ̀.
Ẹni tó máa ṣe
ẹ̀. That shares stubborn mo pọ̀ stubborn. Ajimobi reported to us. Of course, he brought out his diary. He said, Festus, these are your minuses. Oyesomo Oyo State. Wọ́n ṣá list àwọn minuses ẹ̀ bíi mẹ́ta. Positives, o ní PhD, o ti ṣiṣẹ́ ẹ̀rí lẹ́nugu, o mọ̀yàn, kíní kan, I'm picking you. Ó dórí now Professor Adeolu Akande, ó sọ negative tiẹ̀ náà. Wọ́n ní èèyàn Àtíkù ni ẹ́, wọ́n ní PDP ni ẹ́, wọ́n ní kíní kan. Ṣùgbọ́n you have a PhD, you are brilliant, you are the clinical, you are going to be my chief of staff. Wọ́n rántí wọ́n láwọn fẹ́ pick the SSG ngbà yẹn, wọ́n ní dilemma between ẹni tí wọ́n choose at the end of the day àti I think one woman and another person. The woman was maybe head of service, former head of service. So the same thing náà bàbá ò fẹ́ kí wọ́n pick Deolu Akande náà.
Okay.
So but wọ́n ní bàbá mo ti choose. So stubbornness Ajimobi paid off for me.
Okay.
Because as at that time he could have said ṣé ẹ̀fẹ̀ Festus ó yá màá yọ bàbá mo ti ní kó resign níbi tó ti ṣiṣẹ́. Níjọ́ tèmi àti bàbá láàmú àwa pàdé Alhaji Fatai Ibikunle rather.
Okay.
Àwọn ni wọ́n ìjọ yẹn as at that time bàbá ti ń sick díẹ̀díẹ̀. So àwọn àti Governor Ajimobi jọ lọ sí kí ló máa ń porúkọ tó bá ṣe ń jọ Salai. So wọ́n wá sí presidential kí ni tó máa ń lọ ṣe ní Yídì.
Okay, Yídì, okay.
So wọ́n dé wọ́n bá jókòó wọ́n wọ bàtà ńgbà yẹn ráńpẹ́ sẹ̀ tí ń dùn. So gbogbo ọmọ wa ní Alhaji Fatai wa ní ó yá wá lọ kí bàbá ń bá dọ̀bálẹ̀ tánú mo ní Festus Adedayo wọ́n gbé wọ́n mọ tí mo ṣe yìí máa bú mi ni mo ṣáà kí wọn. About a few weeks before he died, Ọbásanjọ́ wá bú wọn. I think he called him senile. Mi ò rántí nǹkan tí nínú paper. This day, mo rí this day, mo wá láti reply Ọbásanjọ́. Mo wá ghostwrite reply attacking Ọbásanjọ́ for saying that against the leader of the people of Oyo State. So wọ́n wá lo piece yẹn story yẹn all over. Bàbá wa rí story yẹn wá dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹni tí mo lórúkọ ẹ̀. Alhaji Fatai Ibikunle wa ni tani kíni Festus tẹ́ láìkí ló kọ kíni Festus ló kọ. So ó wá dijọ́ yẹn ìjọ tí wọ́n publish ẹ̀ Alhaji Fatai wa ń kọjá lọ́fíìsì mo ṣàgbọ́ hold on bàbá hold on Festus. Wọ́n ṣe kọ́ bá wọn rẹ́rìn Festus ó ṣe. So bẹ́ẹ̀ni àti bàbá ṣe parí ìjà wa ni few weeks after don kú.
Okay. So bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe dọ́dọ̀ Ajimobi ẹ lọ how many?
4 years.
4 years. Wọn ò return ni.
Wọn ò return.
Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀?
Long story. Ètí mo kàn lè sọ ni pé week tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe I wrote his 2 inaugural addresses. The first one nígbà tí wọ́n fẹ́ di governor 2011 wọ́n pe a professor of economics mi fẹ́ dárúkọ wọn kan fún wọn ní inaugural speech. So wọ́n á kọ inaugural Ajimobi wá kà ó ní it is too economic. I want an infusion of politics. Ìwọ àti Deolu, you people studied political science, a PhD in political science. Should be able to give me. So Deolu, Professor Akande now said, Festus, lọ fún mi ní draft. So I wrote the draft. Prof, of course, he also had it. But I wrote the bulk of it. And Ajimobi read it, fantastic. And that was this. So I became his speechwriter for the 4 years.
Okay.
And
every
of his speech for 4 years. In fact, I made it into a book.
Okay.
So I was doing that with my job. To be fair to Ajimobi, he liked me. Wonderful man. Ajimobi liked me. However, àwọn forces to rise against me, within and without. Mo rántí few days before swearing, àwọn èèyàn ti kọ inaugural speeches wọn tí wọ́n kà fún second term ní 2015. Mo fẹ́ dárúkọ àwọn tán kọ. Even now, somebody who is now at the presidency wrote one for him. So ìgbà yẹn ogun yẹn ti ń lọ. Mo rántí ìjọ kan, there was one day mo ti ń ṣe law while I was with him. So mo at 200 level, I fẹ́ ṣe exam. So àwọn kan ti lọ bá wọn kó àwọn journalists wá látẹ̀kọ́ I think news editors àwọn yẹn wá ń pè mí kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ mo ṣe conscience ọ̀gá ọ̀ṣà lè conscience wọn wá prick wọn láàárọ̀ yẹn wọ́n kàn pè mí ní Festus mọ̀ bọ̀ so àwọn editors yẹn wà lọ́dọ̀ wọn èmi ló yẹ kí n pè wọ́n yìí náà so wọ́n ní uncle mi ló bá mi get àwọn pípẹ́ yẹn àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀ ṣá gbọ́dọ̀ ogun ẹ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ bàbá kan wà kọ́lọ́n dẹ̀lẹ̀ fẹ́ni tó lọ big person kan ní Ìbàdàn ìjọ kan wà tí wọ́n ṣe meeting ní kí náà porúkọ ibi tán ti ń ṣe meeting àwọn àgbààgbà Ìbàdàn so bàbá yẹn ní leader àwọn báyìí ó wá summon Punch correspondent ṣebí boy Adedayo ẹni ò kí ń jẹ́ kẹ́ rí gọ́vnà boy yẹn ní bẹ́ẹ̀ ni sà bẹ́ẹ̀ ni so gbogbo nǹkan tán sọ ń bẹ̀ gbogbo ẹ̀ ni ọmọ yẹn boy náà wá pè mí ọ̀gá meanwhile this particular guy ó l'accident I applied I think the state government gave him 500,000 at that time he was so appreciative to me so conscience boy yẹn wá ń prick ẹ pé ọ̀gá nǹkan báyìí ni tí mi ò bá sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ bàbá yẹn á ọ̀dà pé kí wọ́n sack mi ni o ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ọ̀gá so mo ti ń rí àwọn ogun yẹn but I was doing my job but I was seeing all the battles so few days ọ̀gá kan sọmọ mi ní mi àti the man who was in charge of our waste nígbà yẹn so he was telling me Festus look ṣe pé mo rójú ẹ o ìwọ and few others mo fẹ́ lò fún second time so lọ fún mi ní draft of my speech so I sat down ilé wọn ni mo wà títí di 4 a.m. níjọ́ swearing yẹn so I was writing I was correcting so ìgbà tá a wá parí tí wọ́n ṣe swearing yẹn mo ṣáà struggle ogun yẹn bẹ̀rẹ̀ gan and I thank God èèyàn mọ̀ nígbà míì tọ́lọ́run bá ń ṣeré èèyàn ló ń ṣe bí ni so at the end of the day it didn't bring me back but it gave me an opportunity to go back to what I know how to do best. I didn't go into active journalism but I began my column all over. Okay. Events kan wá ṣẹlẹ̀ 2 events tí mo rántí tí mo fẹ́ sọ fún yín ìjọ kan wà mo dé láti church late Yinka Odumakin tó ní radio Petals ó wá fẹ́ ṣe I think that was the day tán fẹ́ commission radio ó ṣe ní MOF 21 so he invited me ọ̀rẹ́ mi so he invited me I was there ṣáàjókòó Sunday evening wọ́n ní governor ń bọ̀ èmi ò kàn tí ẹ̀ kọ́kọ́ mọ̀ pé governor ń bọ̀ so èmi MD Tribune Professor Deolu Akande àwa ní front row ní audience all of a sudden announcing the arrival of the governor gbogbo àwa dìde láti welcome governor so bá ṣe jókòó wọ́n wà láì table àwọn èèyàn wá ń lọ kí wọn rántí Professor Akande wá wíṣọ àtijọ́ lọ kí ta ni ẹ̀dẹ̀ mọ̀ pọ̀ ọ̀gá mi ó máa monitor environment ẹ̀ gan apparently ó rí mi tí kí ta ni mi ò kí o so Professor Akande lọ kí wọn àwọn èèyàn lọ kí wọn so nígbà tó ayé àtàn fẹ́ ka speech wọn Edmond Obilo ní compare nígbà níjọ́ ẹ̀ Gawani you see I always tell people when they say corruption is financial no corruption is attitudinal kí Festus máa jókòó síbẹ̀ kó máa wá kí mi is what I call attitudinal corruption.
ọsọ sí microphone.
gbogbo àwọn èèyàn kígbe
ó ti dùn ọ́
pé Festus ọmọ mi dáadáa ni gbogbo nǹkan tá a jọ máa ṣe in government but apparently conscience wọn ti ń prick so kò pẹ́ sígbà yẹn ó kàn wá díjọ́ kan it was a Sunday ìjọ yẹn ni birthday late baba Adétúnjí di Olúbàdàn gbà it was a Sunday mo bá rí tí fóònù mi ring ọ̀gá ló ń pè mí ó ti ń lọ bí 3 years of me being out of power n bá gbé Festus mo rí miss call ẹ mo sọ pé mi ò pè yín o mo wí pé it will be insulting. Àmọ́ ní mo ní kí n kí í ní sà.
Àwọn náà mọ̀ pé
ọ̀gá mi fẹ́ lówó ni ẹ mọ̀ pé ọ̀gá lọ̀gá máa jẹ́ wọn fẹ́ sọ pé ọ̀gá pé báwo ni ìjọ́ òní wàá rí mi ní ìjọ́ tẹ bá ní mò ń lọ sí birthday bàbá lẹ́ni ṣé wàá rí mi ní Tuesday mo ṣàrántí mo rí wọn ní Tuesday alẹ́ ni ní secretariat wọ́n ṣe jáde láti Escobar I'm not seeing anybody mo fẹ́ rí Festus mo fẹ́ rí engineer Òṣìbẹ̀rù so engineer Òṣìbẹ̀rù rí wọn èmi náà bá jókòó wọ́n wá ọ̀ṣà mi mo bá dọ̀bálẹ̀ mo ní ọ̀gá ẹ̀ máa wọ́ndà why tí mo dọ̀bálẹ̀ gbalaja ẹ̀ lèmi náà wọ́ndà yìí ni wọ́n máa ń sọ wọ́n ní Festus ń bú mi mo ní àwọn ọmọ mi ní Festus kò lè bú mi kinní kan mo ní ẹ má bínú because ní wọn ò parọ́ mo ní ọ̀rọ̀ tó jẹ́ láàrin ọmọ àti bàbá kò yẹ kí n externalize mo ní bẹ̀tẹ̀ ọ̀gá ẹ̀ ṣe dáadáa sí mi mo ṣe náwó sí mi mo nà ọ̀gá wà shocked mo lè ṣe dáadáa sí mi wọ́n ní kí ló dé mo ní ọ̀gá níjọba tá a rán lọ yẹn tí wọ́n bá ní àwọn olóṣèlú fẹ́ pa ẹnìkan èèyàn 5 because of their loyalty to you ṣé máa wà lára àwọn 5 ní bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wà lára when I was fighting your battles everywhere mi ò rákálà rí mi ò rí Ládọjà rí I never had any personal issue with me wọn kàn lè dá mi mọ̀ tán bá rí mi láàrin àwọn èèyàn I was fighting your battles kì í ṣe dandan kẹ́ pick me back but ẹ hold mi ní duty láti béèrè pé ọmọ yẹn tó kàn máa ń defend wa all over ṣókàn tí ẹ ń róúnjẹ jẹ ṣàlàáfíà ló wà ẹ wá béèrè mi lọ́dún 3 ọ̀gá mo ní and 1 or 2 weeks before then mo lọ review ìwé Honourable Fẹ́mi Kẹ́hìndé on SLA Akíntọ́lá UI láti ṣe ìwé yẹn so gbàṣẹdébẹ Akala was the father of the day Ọ̀túnba Adébáyọ̀ Àlàó Akala he was the father of the day Aláàfin was the royal father of the day so mo ṣe fẹ́ review ìwé yẹn mo ní I wanted to stand on the existing protocol but mo fẹ́ single out àwọn 2 people Kábíyèsí Aláàfin bàbá mi former governor Adébáyọ̀ Àlàó Akala mo kàn wá ní your excellency you know I've been your very good friend mo kàn ṣe ń kígbe láàrin no ọ̀tá mi ni ẹ o you have always been attacking me you have always been attacking me so bá ṣe wá parí wọn wá bẹ́ kàn ṣé kò tàn báyìí wàá máa bú mi all over the place you are out I'm in wàá máa sọ pé mo ń travel all over the place nínú èmi àtọ̀gẹ́ ta ló ń travel jù àṣà I exchange number gbà yẹn it was thereafter that I knew pé Akala máa ní ọmọlúwàbí o ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ kan ṣẹlẹ̀ maybe 1 or 2 years after mo kàn drive lọ ní side Bẹ̀rẹ̀ mo ṣe rí fóònù tó rìn ní ó bá di Akala Akala mo bá gbé your excellency sir Festus ibo ló wà mo ní mo wà ń bàdàn sir mo bọ̀ lé mi mo bọ̀ láti kọ́kọ́ béèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn ibo ni bàbá mi wọ́n júwe ibi tán gbé ọ̀kẹ́ máa sọ fáwọn èèyàn tí mo pé ẹjọ́ Akala ní kí n wá tí nǹkan kan bá ṣẹlẹ̀ sí mi o n bá délé wọn bá gbé manuscript lé mi lọ that's my biography I want you to handle it you edit it you bring the publisher you will handle everything nǹkan kan tó lè yọ kúrò bẹ́ẹ̀ ni title of the book which is Amazing Grace but every other thing you are at liberty mo tún gbé kíní ẹ̀ mọ́ lọ báyìí máa yí ó mọ̀ pé I spent years writing against Akala màá ṣàbẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣe ìwé yẹn ìjọ kan wà mo délé wọn èmi àti wọn jókòó báyìí bí ìyàwó wọn Chief Mrs. Kẹ́mi Akala nọ́mbà wọlé máa kí wọn Your Excellency Mayeka ẹ̀yin ní Festus Adedayo mo níbẹ̀ ni tí ìbá ṣe pé mo jẹ́ onígbàgbọ́ bá lé ń jáde ń bí ni ẹ bú ọkọ mi pọ̀
so bó ṣe dùn wọ́n tó wọ́n tó sì pè yín pé
wọ́n sì pè mí so ìgbà mọ́ tí ta bá ti ń sin tan pic àwọn photographs ta fẹ́ lò fún Festus wo 1974 rí o ṣé ò rí chain lọ́rùn mi ó ti pẹ́ tí mo ti ń ṣe wà máa bú mi pé mo ń lo chain sọ́rùn máa ń lo chain sẹ́sẹ̀.
So every opportunity.
Festus kíni kan wonderful human being. Mo tún run into trouble lórí ìwé. I mean, that was it. Akala game first check knock fún mi láti produce ìwé yẹn was 5.5 million. I tún run into trouble most of the he still gave me money to run that book. Ó bá kú bàbá Olúnlọ́yọ̀ náà ní kó kọ forward. Bàbá ẹ̀ mọ̀ pé ó máa ń take time. Time dẹ̀ ti ń lọ. Festus ìwọ ló kọ forward. Bàbá ẹ̀ fẹ́ fi trick mú mi náà pé ẹnu tí ìgbé fi bú òrìṣà kó wá fẹ́ ní
Kò fi gbolẹ̀.
Okay, so bàbá ẹ̀ fẹ́ kí n now that I'm close to him ó fẹ́ kí n recant àwọn I mean somebody who had written a lot against you.
Yeah.
So he now wanted me to write. So I sat down and I told myself I wasn't going to recant. Nínú forward yẹn tẹ́ bá kà, I will give you a copy of the forward of the book. Mo sọ pé mo ṣẹ̀ wá. It was while handling the book ni mo discover why his projects didn't last, especially road projects of Alawa Akala. So mo ṣe kọ forward yẹn tí mo fún Festus kí ló mean mọ̀ bọ̀ wọ́n kí ló mean by
Pay project you last.
mo ní Your Excellency gba mo ka ìwé yìí ni mo wá discover pé it was providence that brought you here that made you to be governor of Oyo State. So many people helped you to where you are and you feel that you want to return favors. And in the process you were not rigorous in ensuring that they did quality job. And we said you are very correct. And that thing passed. Tebari passed. Tebari. That was how I wrote it there. Nínú ìwé forward to him. And thereafter, I found out that Omowura of the highest order ní Alawa Akala. Shemo, it's a moment to jẹ́ pé, you know, as a writer, when you encounter somebody you had been, you know, writing against for several years, I discovered pé, yes, it's not as if those things he didn't do them. For instance, the shoddy projects that I used to write against, but beneath that was an Omowura par excellence. Kí lẹ béèrè lọ́wọ́ mi náà tí mo fi veer into.
A sọ̀rọ̀ nípa Ajimobi. Pé ẹnìkan sún
Okay, so
2 weeks earlier.
Mo wá sọ fún wọn pé, Your Excellency, a few weeks ago, I met Akala. Then sọ fún mi pé ṣé ò tán mi bí? Ṣé ò tán mi bí náà ni? Pé so Akala, I never met him until about 2 weeks ago. Ẹ wá ń jẹ́ káwọn èèyàn wá máa sọ̀rọ̀ sí wa pé, and then Akala told me, I don't abandon people who stand by me the way you stood by your boss. So ma sọ gbogbo ẹ̀. For the first time, I wrote it as a tribute. See, when Ajimobi died, I wrote all this. Ajimobi, the Festus, dáríjì mi. And thereafter, when he left government, wọ́n pè mí, because I was going on radio stations and I was telling them about the good things that I did. Níjọ́ kan wọ́n pè mí, mo rántí mo ṣẹ̀ dé láti US ni. So I now traveled to Akure. I was doing a workout. And then mo rí phone Ajimobi, Festus to show. Oh, bá wa ṣe second time. And all over, àwọn èèyàn ń pè mí. Wọ́n sọ fún mi, ṣé Festus wà lórí rédíò lẹ́nìí? Ṣé ló ń praise yín? Dẹ̀ pé ẹ padà fún second time. Ó ṣe o. Wọ́n sì ìjọ́ tèmi àti Adebayo lọ rí wọn few weeks before he died. Festus. OJ Adebayo sọ fún yín pé mo lọ sí Kigali, from there mo lọ US. Festus ó ti wá di Àjàlá travel. Jẹun wúwo fún ẹ. Give me money.
Like pé Barrister Ojo sọ nígbà tán wá sí.
Give me money. Festus ẹ má ti ilẹ̀ wá máa bá mi ṣeré. He had left government. Àwọn èèyàn ti abandon.
Kò sí èrò mọ́. So nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ pẹ̀lú Nnamani ti padà.
Exactly, wá padà. Mo tó rántí ìjọ, I saw Ajimobi few days before he died. I saw him last on May 5. ṣẹ̀mẹ̀pá Ayinla Omowura ìwé mi ó jáde ní May 6 40th anniversary ikú Ayinla Omowura so máa ń mú a copy of the book èmi àti OJ àtọ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀ la lọ bá nígbà COVID in fact there was curfew that time so àwa lọ kí wọ́n ṣe ìgbà ẹni wọ́n breaking of fast àwẹ̀ wà ń gbà yẹn so àwa àti èmi OJ àtọ̀rẹ́ OJ àti Ajimobi àti madam Mrs. Ajimobi lájọ wà ní table Gani Festus ó yá mẹ́ràn àmúnjẹ it was the love now came afresh in fact before catalogue break mo kàn kọ mo autograph copy ìwé mi fún wọn ní Your Excellency you taught us that only the best was enough. I said, Festus, oh, mo pé mo máa àwọn òyìnbó ẹ̀ mo máa learn English from you. You know, those were the last words Ajimobi said to me. And wọ́n sìn wá lọ sí di mọ́tò lálẹ́ ọjọ́ yẹn. And intuitively I looked back. I just saw aṣọ wọn yẹn. It was something unusual. In fact, I wrote it in my tribute to him. As I was looking at him as he was going, that was the last time I was going to see him.
And was not sick.
He wasn't sick. He wasn't sick at all. Martin jẹun Festus, we are mẹ́ràn ẹran ló wà ńbẹ̀ we are jẹun. Festus àmàlà kan yóò tó area. He was particularly very, very friendly towards me. Ajimobi was a great man.
Bùkà tó wà ní gọ́vnà àti ìgbà tẹ́ padà lọ yẹn, ìwà wọn ti yàtọ̀ àbí?
Pẹ̀lú is the experience that people rántí statement Ruben Abati that your phone will stop ringing. Is an encounter that anybody in government will face. The number of àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ to acquire while you are in government wọ́n fẹsẹ̀ fẹ́. Àwọn your core friends are the ones who will be with you. It happened to Ajimobi. It happened to Ajimobi. Ìjọ́ tí mo ní èmi àti OJ lọ kí wọn. There was only one person who came to see him. Ọ̀gá ò tún fẹ́ ká lọ gan pé ẹ dúró ẹ bá mi ṣeré. You know, as at that time, àwọn arírere bá ní jẹ àgbọn
sálẹ̀. Tẹ́lẹ̀ ẹsẹ̀ gírí.
Kẹ́ tó lè rí ẹsẹ̀ gírí Àjọfẹ́. Kẹ́ tó lè rí gọ́vnà ńgbà yẹn, look, I'm giving you just 3 minutes. But now, he didn't want us to go. And it's a fate that will befall anybody in government.
Yeah. Okay, 2019. One appointee, what they fire in láàrin. According to what is in the news.
Okay.
One fire in láàrin. I think that same day or maybe the following day, you were appointed as media
special advisor
media
to Senate President
Lawan. Kí lẹ ṣe fún wọn?
Yes. As at that time, Cheryl, after the Ajimobi experience, I told myself
that's the first time.
Tí mo ṣe essay.
Tí wọ́n pè yín padà.
No, even my time, my years, my 4 years of working with Ajimobi, my years with Nnamani. By that time, ọ̀rọ̀ à ń ṣe media kìíní to a governor, ó ti ń kúrò lọ́kàn mi. Just like bàbá wa tá di Olúbàdàn ní wíìkì. Níjọ́ kan èmi àti wọn bàbá Ládọjà, àjọ wà ní I think it was a symposium tí Honorable Babatunde Odúṣeyẹ ṣe on his birthday, 60th birthday. So I was one of the panelists. Àjọ jókòó sí high table. Bàbá, Justice Adeniji, èmi. I think Wabara was also the former Senate President. Okay. So bá ṣe wá ṣe tán, àwa ń lọ, wọ́n lọ kí wọn. And Festus, that was the very first time Baba would be seeing me. I think that should be about 2019 ìyẹn ṣẹlẹ̀ 2022 àbí nǹkan kan lèmi àti wọn ríra for the first time. Bá ní Festus mo wà lára àwọn tó ń gbé placard nígbà tí wọ́n náà fi ẹ́ ṣe essay sí Lawan. Ìwọ gan àwọn tó ń lọ sáàbì wọn ò lọ́pọlọ tó ẹ̀ náà àwọn gan ló yẹ kó máa ṣe essay. So in other words, mo ti ń reassess this issue of appointments. Because I see it as big iṣẹ́ àgbépò ni. Okay. Just go there to claim mess. And then if you are not lucky, it will sink you. Many people, tí mi fẹ́ dárúkọ wọn, who used to operate at a very high level in the media, I'm at a loss office there. Unless God is with you, you will go with it. Whatever is the burden tí principal tó bá carry out of it, for instance, bóyá ó jalè àbí nǹkan, it will rub off on you. Ìwọ tó jẹ́ pé ọ̀gá ẹ̀ ò ní pè ẹ́ pé wo ọmọ mo fẹ́ lọ jí owó yìí o. Ìwọ ni wàá defend ẹ̀. Ìwọ ni wàá
create
defend
stories
ẹ̀.
that's
I mean, so most times they don't survive it. So mo ti reassess taking up such appointments. So this day in 2019, by then I was at the law school. I think she externship wa. My externship, by the way, I did it at Adedayo and Gbadamosi, OJ's chamber. Okay. So this day, I was at home in the morning, around 7 a.m. Mo fi phone mi sílẹ̀, mo wá lọ sínú restroom. Mo wá dé, mo rí pé mo ti rí miss call, mo ti ní miss call. It was my friend Yusuf Olaniyonu, former commissioner for information to Governor Mosun, former SA media to Saraki. And so they were just leaving the office. So mo ṣe rí miss call, mo wá pè padà. Yusuf, mo rí miss call, ẹ wá ní pé the new Senate president, Lawan, who entrusts the task of getting his own successor, rather, to him. We could look around in the media who was capable of being a successor to him. Many of our colleagues sọ̀rọ̀, but òun believe pé mi ni mo lè ṣe. Bí dẹ̀ ṣe sọ tán, mo dẹ̀ sọ pé Yusuf wà láyé, a máa gbọ́ gbogbo nǹkan tá à ń sọ. Yusuf, ó mọ̀ pé mi ò proud, but I don't want to do that job again. So, má bínú, I don't want to do it. Then, ó dẹ̀ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ pé, okay, no problem, thank you. They drop phone. Ẹ̀dẹ̀ mọ àwọn obìnrin. My wife was beside me pé, láì bá wọn file appointment. Mo ní bẹ́ẹ̀ ni. Àwọn èèyàn méjì kan wà tí mo mọ̀ pé o ní respect fún, tí wọn ò ní mislead. Ṣe kọ́kọ́ send it by them. Tán bá dẹ̀ sọ pé kó má gbà. You now. So, one of them was Honorable Babs Oduyoye. The other was my brother, Ajowala to the same Akure. Olumide Origunloye orúkọ ẹ̀. So I called Babs, and Babs said, look, tí play in Federal Arena, local champion, yeah? It's an opportunity for you to also show the world that what you did at the state level, you could do it at the federal. I think you should take the job. Mo pe Origunloye, and he said, look, it's an opportunity for you to help our people in Akure, the young people who don't have jobs. If you are there, you can use your leverage. Kofi Ba will get iṣẹ́. And I think I saw sense in what they said. So reluctantly, èmi, mo believe pé wọn ò lè ever fi mí ṣe essay pẹ̀lú gbogbo nǹkan tí mò ń kọ against Buhari. As at that time, but I just wanted to fulfill all righteousness. So I called Yusuf Oladiyonu and I said, Yusuf, má bínú. I spoke with some of my people and they are of the opinion that I should try it. Okay, no problem. So thank God, for almost 1 week, kò sẹ́ni tó get back to money. Mo ti sọ bẹ́ẹ̀, kò sẹ́ni tá gbọ́ orúkọ mi. Tá fẹ́ gbà mí sí ìjọba Buhari. So on a Sunday night, I think I was leaving Recreation Club, mo ti gba scotch now. Around 9 p.m., we can receive call. Hello, who is this? My name is Hakeem Baba Ahmed. Hakeem Baba Ahmed was the chief of staff to Saraki. Okay. So, Ongon ló sọ fún Yusuf Olaniyonu, being a professional, a media professional, because Scoutran. So, the Senate president will be meeting you tomorrow at Transcorp Hotel. Okay. So I went to Abuja. I was there. I went with 2 photocopies of my CV. Wọ́n ti interview àwọn kan náà before me. They jókòó, but the phone Senate president need a copy of my CV. I gave Hakeem Baba Ahmed, and they were And I saw that as the Senate president, bó ṣe ń wo CV mi ló ń rẹ́rìn, ló ń rẹ́rìn, ló ń rẹ́rìn. And the first question he asked me was, Dr. Adedayo, how did you manage to earn all these degrees? A first degree in philosophy, master's in political science, PhD in political science, LLB. How did you manage? And you're a journalist. So I told him the story of my life. You know, some of which I have told you now. So, but there's a story life. And okay. You know, the question tí Akim Baba Ahmed náà béèrè lọ. But the second question tí Lawan béèrè lọ mi ni pé the impression people have is that I'm a villa stooge or something like that. But so how do you want to ensure that there's a redirection of that image?
Villas to G.
Pé lapdog president lò.
Okay.
Pé so pé mo ní láti change image yẹn for him, and I told him how I would do it, and he was excited. So they said we should not go back and await the Senate president's verdict in the kejì. So ó kàn di bí irú 12 bí Baba Ahmed ṣe pè mí ní pé congratulations, the Senate president has chosen you as his media advisor. Then thank you. So mo máa lọ sí airport ni mo ń dúró fún flight mi tó ń bọ̀ ní Ìbàdàn tí mo rí pé wọ́n ti announce ẹ̀. It became a bedlam. Mo ṣe ń land ní Ìbàdàn, oh my God. In fact, ìgbà tí màá fi délé, battery phone mi ti kú. People were calling me from all over. And then the war began. People saying that boy never. And a former governor in the Southwest was the one who started the battle. Yes.
Tani governor.
Imagine dárúkọ wọn. Boy yẹn, that former governor ó sọ fún ọ̀rẹ́ mi Oje pé ọ̀tá mi láyé lọ́run ni Festus. Ọ̀run ládẹ̀ ti parí ìjà. So oló coordinate battle yẹn, because I found out later. Ó lo attorney general tí wọ́n ti wá jọ dọ̀tá báyìí láti coordinate ẹ̀. So and the battle was fierce. Èmi gan people, as at that time, it was the most talked about issue in Nigeria that week. So, in fact, some governors were calling me, mo fẹ́ forúkọ bọ̀ wọ́n láṣìírí. Governor kan wà tó pè mí pé mo wà ní ọ́fíìsì Lawan nísìn. In fact, wọ́n ti sọ́mọ̀ ẹ̀ ní villa lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀. Màá tún fún ẹ ní feedback later. Màá fún ẹ feedback later. Another governor tún pè mí, your former boss, Nnamani, went and met him and told him, I encountered the same problem when I chose this guy as my media aide. Because people were saying that he was always attacking Obasanjo and that I should not appoint him. You know, Nnamani was an Obasanjo person. And that what he told them was that if he was an Obasanjo person, the moment he starts working with me, then you have lost one of your enemies because he will become your friend. Now, so he walked to Lawan and told him, to bring this guy on board, he will no longer be attacking the system. Don't you see that? That is a plus. But Ọlọ́run, ṣe mọ̀ pé tí ọmọ olóore bá fẹ́ jìn sí kòtò, mọ̀nàmọ́ná ṣiṣẹ́ ìmọ́lẹ̀. And I think that was just what happened, because that job would have ruined me. Ẹ bá máa gbọ́ ẹni tó ń jẹ́ Festus Adedayo, ẹ bá máa pòṣé ni. Because you know what Lawan stood for. In fact, during his Senate presidency, nígbà tó issue release pé whatever the president brought, àwọn á sign it to become law. One of my younger colleagues, mi fẹ́ dárúkọ ẹ̀, sent me a message. Say, Ọ̀gá, congratulations. Mo ní congratulations. Mo imagine kó jẹ́ pé ẹ̀yin lè append orúkọ yín sí release. It was enough to destroy you. So it would have destroyed me. And then after that encounter, I looked up into the sky and told God, I don't want to do this job again all the days of my life. I can be a consultant, but pé kí n wá lọ máa lọ ṣe media advisor sí not even the president, not even the media advisor of any president. Where I am now, I'm enjoying the best of time.
But tí
With my colour.
president bá reach out sí yín kọ́ personal tó fẹ́ lo brain ní
Ọlọ́run ní
pé
jẹ́.
kẹ́ wá serve.
Sherry, kò sẹ́ni tó mọ̀ la o, mi ò lè rí beyond my nose. Èmi Festus Adedayo tí mo jọ, mi ò gbàdúrà ẹ̀. Mi ò gbàdúrà kí Ọlọ́run ever jẹ́ kí n ṣiṣẹ́ ẹ̀ mọ́. I could do I could serve whoever that I feel that I am more aligned with in other areas, but certainly not this job. Kì í ṣiṣẹ́ tó yẹ kí irú mi ṣe mọ́. In any case, I don't even, Sherry, I tell you, Sundays are the best days of my life. When I write, àwọn èèyàn á bú mi, àwọn èèyàn á praise me, but none of them will say that it's not contributing to the progress of Nigeria.
So àti ìbú yẹn gbogbo
Àti ìbú yẹn gbogbo ẹ̀, at least they will all agree that this guy is contributing his own quota. Ẹ lè sọ pé his Tinubu bashing is too much. That boy is always attacking the president, but you will not say that he's not lending a voice to what is happening in the country.
All right. Before kí n tó lọ sórí Ayinla Omowura, tẹ̀rẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ débẹ̀. Law, pẹ̀lú gbogbo ẹ ti ka gbogbo everything tó padà lọ ṣe law. Ṣé ẹ fi ṣọ̀rẹ́ pẹ̀lú àwọn èèyàn pé ẹ láwọn ọ̀rẹ́ tó lọ ṣe law yẹn náà ó pè á?
No, well, I think Adebayo Ojo, Mutalubi Ojo, Oremi, my very good friend, was the inspiration. Because but when he was Attorney General, he was always encouraging me. Mo rántí pé the first form tí mo fẹ́ fi wọ University of Ibadan láti lọ ṣe law, òun ló mú mi lọ sí Faculty of Law, to tell them pé he has all what it takes to start studying law. I think one thing led to the other. I didn't get admission. First, I wanted to satisfy my father. Unfortunately, he was late by the time I became a lawyer. I started law when I was special advisor of media to Ajimobi. It wasn't easy, but I was until understanding pẹ̀lú àwọn close aides governor gbẹ̀yìn tán bá pè mí ẹ sọ fún wọn pé mò ń bọ̀ tán bá ti pè mí ẹ̀yìn ni màá gbà jáde kúrò ní class màá sáré lọ rí governor, and I was enjoying it, but kò easy kéèyàn lọ fi àgbà arúgbára lọ kàwé. Kò easy in the sense pé wàá ready láti gba insult kasi ẹ̀gbin wà ń bẹ̀. Many of my colleagues in UI then, the set of 2017, well, we call ourselves 2018, because 2018 like Paris because of strike. They were respectful. They gave me my own respect. But of course, ẹ lè rí kò sí kẹ́ má rí àwọn kàńdá. Tí wọ́n kọ̀ ìjọ kan ní lecturer kan wò mí kan sọ pé ẹnìkan pè mí doctor, you are all the same. They are all colleagues here.
Lecturers.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni lecturer. Gbà tó lọ́wọ́ adé wa gbé ṣẹ̀dí. Kò pẹ́ sígbà yẹn ni lecturer yẹn wá ní issue. Ó wá wẹ̀ pé ta ló ń lé, ó bá wà sir. This student said, inshallah, one competition sì dín pé kí ni advice on kí ló ń ṣe, kí ni kò ń ṣe. My advice ẹ ṣe báyìí. When thank you, sir. Hey, did you finish from here? Some years ago, I did my PhD at that faculty of the social sciences. And by the way, your dad, he was a professor of economics. I used to interview him many years ago. You were probably in the primary school.
The same place where you are all the same.
So, and when I went to the law school, Lagos campus, the stress was almost killed me. Let's go easy. Lagos campus, dreaded campus. There are days we start lectures, 9, 7 p.m. And then, I'm a drill, everybody and drill on my crutch. Oh yeah, you tó wà ńbẹ̀, what did I say?
In law school.
In law school. Tell me, because you know it's cramming. You have to be able to cram. Most of those things you have to cram them. Unfortunately, Ọlọ́run ló yọ mí ò dé lè cram. Èmi wà used to kí n kan ṣẹlẹ̀ kí n kọ́ in my own words. I nearly failed. Could work. You have to be able to cram. But it was a huge lesson. I got called to the bar in 2019. And last year, I finished my LLM at the University of Ibadan with a proceed for PhD in law, but náà pé busy mo bá dé ti tó.
Ẹ̀rọ jù.
Torí mo wá bèrè lọ́wọ́ ara mi gan pé ṣe ìṣepò sick. These degrees. And mo rántí ọ̀rẹ́ mi kan, I have a friend who is at the top. Ǹjọ́ kan máa lọ sọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀, so ó ní fáìlì níwájú ẹ̀, ó fẹ́ gba ẹnìkan síṣẹ́. Wọ́n mo ṣe wọ́n ló ní, Adedayo, this is your degree. When are you going to end it? Do you know I have somebody like you? Ó ní wọ́n gbé fáìlì ẹ̀, wọ́n ní kí n gbà síṣẹ́. He has 2 or 3 PhDs, has 3 months. I think he's sick. Money, are you saying I'm sick? I'm not saying that though. But this is your degree. So I think I'm reviewing it. Okay. And I don't know. If I might do, I can go and do PhD in law. If I might do.
Ṣé ẹ fẹ́ pé I do? I think feel bẹ́ẹ̀. All right. Ẹ já sọ̀rọ̀ pa, to write this book, 537 pages. Ayinla Omowura. Nínú gbogbo eléyìí náà, let's ráyè tó kọ ilé.
It's a long story. My late father, I told you, ọlọ́pàá ni wọ́n. But wọ́n máa ń ra àwọn cassettes àwọn olórin. Epo Àkàrà, Ayinla Omowura, Sakala Igbade, Yusuf Olatunji, Esaka Baba Waidi. So he used to buy all those cassettes and I would listen to them. Etí mo like jùnú gbogbo wọn ní Epo Àkàrà. Like tí wọ́n bá sọ pé màá kọ̀wé lórí olórin.
Ẹ máa rò pé Epo Àkàrà.
Màá rò pé Epo Àkàrà. I'm talking of in the 70s. Kò sí orin Epo Àkàrà tí mi ò mọ̀. Kò sí, and I fell in love with Epo Àkàrà. Àwọn orin bọ́mọdé bá ní tẹríba ò bọ́mọdé bá ní tẹríba. Ẹ̀tọ́ ni kórìn má lágbà, ẹ̀tọ́ ni kórìn má lágbà, bọ́mọdé bá ní tẹríba. Kò sórí Epo Àkàrà tí mi ò mọ̀. However, ìgbà tí wọ́n pa Alhaji Ayinla Omowura in 1980, I tended to move towards him because of the nature of his death. But I never knew I would write anybody. So I was listening to him. Then ìgbà tí mo wá go into journalism. I remember in 2004, mo wà l'Enugu. Mo wá wálé, mo ra àwọn cassette Ayinla Omowura tó ń pọ̀ gan. Mo wá kó wọn lọ s'Enugu, so máa ń listen sí gbogbo. Mo wá kọ piece kan nínú Guardian. Guardian bá mi lo piece ẹ̀ ní 2004. I think 2004 May 6. Piece ẹ̀ mo kàn gbogbo orin tí mo gbọ́ mi ò rí Ayinla Omowura rí, mi ò mọ̀ anything nípa ẹ̀. The closest I heard of him was, from my mother-in-law from Abeokuta who knew him. So mo kàn kọ piece yẹn, doing an analysis of his song. Guardian lò for about 4 or 5 pages. One spice pẹ̀lú photographs Ayinla Omowura. I remember the title of the piece was Ayinla Omowura. Maybe 2004, 24 years after the Sybarite. A Sybarite is somebody who loves the life of wine, women, and drink. Mm-hmm. So mo ṣe analysis there. So but Guardian published Guardian. It was a Friday. So people started calling me, oh mama, this much. Why don't you upgrade it into a book? And I will learn. So bon nǹkan tí mo máa ń ṣe ni pé every year, màá tún upgrade piece yẹn. Màá send ẹ̀ sáwọn newspapers wọ́n bá mi publish it. So níbi ṣebí 2019 mo lọ sí law school. I think it was early 2019. There was this young man, Ganiyu Waidi. He's late now. Call on for him. he just searched for me. Ó kàn pàdé mi. Mo rántí pa pàdé ní recreation club. Wọ́n ní ẹ̀gbọ́n, I've been a fan of yours. Mo dẹ̀ máa ń ka àwọn articles yín lórí Ayinla Omowura. Ẹ ṣe fi kọ̀wé. Ìwé ló sọ̀rọ̀. Ìwé máa take a ní àhá máa assist yín. Kíní kan. Mo ní mo ti gbọ́. So gba exchange number. Kí jẹ́ kí n gbádùn. A tún wá bá mi lọ́fíìsì. Ẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ jẹ́ ká ẹ jẹ́ ibi tẹ́ bá fẹ́ kí n ti assist yín máa assist. Ó wá link mi mọ́ boy kan journalist náà ní Lábẹ́òkúta. A pè yẹn wá sí Ìbàdàn. So I paid him. He would be my research assistant. So the guy agreed. I was paying him every month. So tó bá ti ó ṣe àwọn underground but èmi náà tún lọ. Èmi àti Waheed agbémọ́tò a lọ sí Abẹ́òkúta. I interview bàbá kan báyìí. I'm sure he's late now. Ọ̀rẹ́ Ayinla Omowura ni. So he knew a lot about him. Mo interview ìyàwó Ayinla Omowura. Kí lórúkọ wúbà yìí? Interview wọn research assistant. Any of the interviews tó bá ṣáà strong á pè mí máa lọ interview Kollington Ayinla ní Alágbàdo. And then when I gathered, the materials were awesome.
Ó pọ̀nlẹ̀ gan.
Ó pọ̀nlẹ̀ gan. In fact, when I wrote this book in mo kúrò ní law school ní bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe August or September la kúrò. So mo ti gba gbogbo àwọn wọ́n ti turn in research assistant ti turn in gbogbo àwọn interviews yẹn. Mo lọ sí Oxford ní UK. Ọ̀rẹ́ mi Professor Wale Adebawi was at the University of Oxford. Ó bá mi gba travel lodge hotel. In fact, that was when èmi àti ẹ̀gbọ́n Délé Momodu, I met. He was also at travel lodge. He even gave us dinner. So what I did was to wake up, eat my breakfast, start writing the book. But tó bá tún di alẹ́, prof àwa bá mi àṣírí jáde. I did that. I think I was in Oxford for about 2 weeks. From Oxford, I went to Atlanta. Ọ̀rẹ́ mi Romanos, my Unilag classmate, Romanos Agbojeyin, ilé ẹ̀ Atlanta. Òun àti ìyàwó ẹ̀ wọ́n ti lọ bíṣẹ́. Ìyá ìyàwó ẹ̀ wọ́n ti sóúnjẹ fún mi. Àti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí kọ ìwé. Màá kọ́ di bí ìrọ̀lẹ́ ńgbà tó bá dé ìyàwó ẹ̀ àti ra coffee fún mi, àti ra coffee àtúnṣe. So that was by the time I came back to Nigeria, I finished this book in 2-3 months. Mm-hmm. In fact, I wrote my publisher, I wrote 200 and something thousand words. Aláti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí wa máa gé.
So ẹ gé kú eléyìí ni.
A gé kú eléyìí ni.
Wow.
The information available to me was too much. And so when I finished writing it, mo rántí ọ̀rẹ́ mi, Professor Akande called me. Ó máa print ju bí 200 copies. So èèyàn mélòó ló fẹ́ ka Ayinla Omowura? Àwọn mélòó ló rántí Ayinla Omowura? But to the glory of God, that book, máa sọ fáwọn èèyàn pé tí mo bá people's knowledge of me tó bá jẹ́ bí 30% before this book, Ayinla Omowura shut it up. Because right now, when you talk about Ayinla Omowura, kò possible kẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ Ayinla Omowura kẹ́ bá sọ̀rọ̀ Festus Adedayo. And then the reception was
Awesome.
Ó ti pọ̀ jù. I printed how many thousand copies? And as I'm talking to you, mi rò pé mo ní 100 copies.
Because there was a time there sọ fún mi pé kò pọ̀nlẹ̀.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, I don't think I have up to 100
But initially kò lọ.
Ó lọ from the word go. From the word go ló ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí lọ. And people were asking for it, calling me, booksellers, people were asking Labẹ́òkúta, all over. People were, no, it was ó lágbára. And then, I had to I was in Philadelphia on account of this book, to present this book. Among academics, African Studies Association, there was their convention or whatever that they had in Philadelphia in 2022. They invited me through Professor Saheed Aderinton. Okay. And I was there. Àwọn òyìnbó tí mo ń kọ orin Ayinla Omowura táwọn èèyàn tán nínú hall. And that, for me, that was the height.
ẹ já sọ díẹ̀ nínú kékeré nínú àwọn nǹkan tẹ àwọn research tí ò common tí tẹ kọ sínú ẹ̀. Because iṣẹ́ yẹn tẹ pọ̀ gan gidi tí máa sọ wípé mi ò tí ì kà tán ó sọ pé èmi gan tí mo tà ń bẹ̀ kò kéré but mi ò tí ì ráàyè kà tán ọjọ́ kan màá kàn tún gbé màá kàn tún but èyí tó máa ń dùn mí ń bẹ̀ òun ni ti Bayewumi. Now pẹ̀lú knowledge law tẹ̀ ti ní sìn tó wáyé pé àsìkò yìí ni nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ yẹn ṣẹlẹ̀ ṣẹ̀rọ kan máa sentence Bayewumi to death.
It's a very deep question. First, let me tell you the story of how Bayewumi killed Ayinla Omowura. Ayinla Omowura, when he started music, ara àwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́ supporters ẹ̀ ni Bayewumi. Fatai Bayewumi, I think he read up to standard 4, I guess, so need some knowledge, some education. In fact, he was working as an insurance man in Abeokuta. But he allegedly stole some money. And in fact, kó tó di pé ìgbà tó jẹ́ insurance gbajúmọ̀ dẹ̀ ni, ọmọ ẹ̀ tí mo interview sọ fún mi pé tí bàbá òun bá jókòó níta àtàwọn ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀ sọmọrí ẹgbẹ́ wọ́n invite Ayinla Omowura ó ní sẹ́ẹ̀lì ló máa ń lò mí o sẹ́ẹ̀lì ni àwọn instrument tó máa ń lò gbà yẹn ó tún jókòó á kàn jókòó á dúró á máa entertain wọn ní bóyá kan wà ní ẹgbẹ́ lé bá wọn máa kọrin tá fún máa entertain. In fact ó claim pé damask tí Ayinla Omowura wọ̀ ní first album ẹ̀ pé bàbá òun ló fún. That was what the boy said. So but Bayewumi was involved in allegation of stealing from the insurance company. So wá láti sá lọ sí north. So nígbà tó wá sá lọ sí north, ó sá lọ sí north. Àyìnlá wá lọ ṣeré ní north. Mi ò rántí ìlú yẹn ní north. Ló wá síbẹ̀ láyìnlá ní Bayewumi ó dẹ̀ lọ láti ìjọ padà wálé kó wá máa bá wa ṣe manager. Ìwọ kàwé àwa ò kàwé ìwà lè máa fi ló wá sọ pé nǹkan báyìí báyìí. Mo gbọ́ pé from what I gathered Àyìnlá wá sanwó tí ó jẹ́ insurance yẹn. Òun ló enable Bayewumi láti padà sílé sábẹ́kúta. So he became their manager and was providing. But wọ́n ló máa ń jí owó tí wọ́n bá gbà. Kò kí ló máa ń porúkọ owó booking yẹn kò kí ń fi jíṣẹ́ tán débi pé ó lè gbowó booking tí event tó yẹ kó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Saturday àwọn èèyàn á wá sọ́fíìsì tí wọ́n máa.
Ṣé ọmọ Bayewumi ló sọ yẹn?
Ọmọ Bayewumi ló sọ yẹn.
Okay.
So ó lè jẹ́ pé lopsided account ni. But from other accounts too nǹkan tí mo gather ni pé he was a drunk. Okay. You know, so and it was affecting his disposition, his management of the band. But he was a very tall man. They said he was about 6 feet 2 inches. Ìyàwó Ayinla Omowura kan sọ pé òun àti Ayinla Omowura wọ́n ní àṣà kan ẹgbẹ́júlẹ̀ something like that. Wọ́n ní àṣà kan something bíru almost like a cultic kìíní tán jọ máa ń sọ láàrin ara wọn. So ó wá di ijọ́ kan ní December wọ́n máa ń ṣe rehearsal nílé Ayinla Omowura ní Thursdays. So wọ́n ṣe rehearsal níjọ́ ẹ̀ bọ́n ṣe wá ṣe lókè tẹ́ bá ti délé Ayinla upstairs. So wọ́n ṣe wá parí rehearsal wọ́n wá sí sitting room. Ayinla Omowura wọn sọ pé ẹnìkan lápá òun nínú gbogbo èyí tẹ́ ẹ dúró síbi. So bàbá Adéwọlé tí mo interview wá ní àwọn ń béèrè lọ pé Ayinla ìwọ wọ́n ní ọ̀rọ̀ pípa nínú nǹkan tá à ń sọ wọ́n lè mọ nǹkan tó ń sọ pé ẹnìkan lápá òun nínú àwọn tó wà ní. Bàbá Adéwọlé láwọn bá béèrè lọ pé bí èmi bí wọ́n ní ìwọ kọ́ bí èmi bí ibi kọ́.
Ó dọ̀rọ̀ Jésù ni.
Ló bá dorí Bayewumi bá ní bí èmi pé ìwọ rẹ̀ máa pa mí. So ìyàwó Ayinla Omowura tí mo interview wá sọ pé bí wọ́n ṣe wá ń lọ sílé níjọ́ yẹn lórí pé Bayewumi was very sad wọ́n ní ó wá approach wọ́n ní òun ò ní pẹ́ fi Alhaji Ayinla lẹ̀. Ó lóun wá ní kó má ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ pé òun náà ló ń fún wọn ní knowledge with his education wá ní rà ó ló sọ pé òun lòun á pa òun nísò òun ò dẹ̀ fẹ́ kó ṣẹlẹ̀. So but shortly after ó abandon band wọn lóòótọ́ òun la Ayinla Omowura fi kọrin ẹ ti mọ bí ẹ gbé wá dé kí ẹ tó fẹ́ ẹgbẹ́ sí ilẹ̀ Bayewumi ẹ mọ bí ẹ gbé wá dé kí ẹ tó fẹ́ ẹgbẹ́ sí ilẹ̀ kọ́lọ́run má kọ̀ mí mò ń gbàdúrà o. Wọ́n ní wọ́n wá ṣeré alápánsánpá nìbàdàn fún alápánsánpá ní weekend yẹn Bayewumi was not there so ibẹ̀ yẹn ni absence ẹ̀ ti wà very noticeable. So nílé ẹ̀ wọ́n ló ṣe fẹ́yàwó tuntun àkáǹtì tí mò ń sọ àkáǹtì ọmọ ẹ̀ ni o. Ó ní so ó wá antenna tẹlifíṣàn wa ní problem ó wá gun àkàbà lọ sókè láti fix ẹ̀ ibẹ̀ ló ti ṣubú ó wá dá lẹ́sẹ̀. Ọmọ Bayewumi claim pé Bayewumi rán ìyàwó ẹ̀ tuntun lọ sọ́dọ̀ Ayinla Omowura pé òun wà lọ́spítù pé Ayinla ò fún ní kọ́bọ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ mo bá nephew Ayinla Omowura kan náà mo interview ẹ̀ ìyẹn sọ pé ẹ̀gbọ́n òun ló fún ní owó tó fi treat rẹ̀ but he didn't for 1 month or 2 months kò lè kúrò nílé but ìjọ́ tó wá kúrò nílé pé kò ń lọ mutí ní bá palọ̀ Síkírátù Adékọ́lá mi rántí eré àyẹ̀mọ́ báyìí bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ti máa ń lọ mọtí so ìjọ́ yẹn ó ṣàmú ọ̀pá kẹ́pẹ́sẹ̀ ò tí ó mọ̀pá dání gúdà náà dẹ̀ ló máa mú so ẹ jẹ́ ká fi ìfisílẹ̀ síbẹ̀. Mo interview ìyàwó Ayinla Omowura kan náà Kẹ́hìndé lórúkọ woman ó ní òun máa ń gbálẹ̀ ilẹ̀ onílẹ̀ kan níjọ́ tí Ayinla Omowura kú ó ní so by 6 a.m. òun ti ń gbá wájú ìta ní so òun wá rí bàbá kan ó ní bàbá yẹn wá bí irú 6 a.m. ó lóun rántí orúkọ ẹ̀ ó ní bẹ̀rẹ̀ tó rántí pé òun ni Ayinla kì tó fi sọ pé bàbá Káyọ̀dé ó ṣáàjìrì bá ti rì láfẹ́ ń wá ló gbé ń pawó so bàbá yẹn ni so wá béèrè pé aláàjì nǹkan sọ pé wọ́n wà lókè so ìgbà tí máyín gòkè lọ wá rántí pé Ayinla Omowura bá lọ tí aláàjì bá lọ 3-4 days ó lè má padà wálé kó ń lọ gbowó lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ bí so bóun ṣe dókè ló bá ní kó ń bá ń fi okùn sí ṣòkòtò ó ní so olódẹ fún lówó ní mint lówó tó fún òun gbà ó ní in fact for more than 1 year lẹ́yìn ìgbà tó kú òun ò lè náwó yẹn ní so òun àti bàbá Káyọ̀dé wọ́n jáde wọ́n gbé 504 jáde so ó ní kò pẹ́ sígbà yẹn látẹ́gùn yìí ló bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí fẹ́ tó gbé orí bí àpẹẹrẹ ó mẹ́rin pé nǹkan burúkú àṣẹlẹ̀ kò pẹ́ sígbà yẹn tó júmọ́ mọ́ díẹ̀ ó ní ọmọ Ayinla Omowura Kuburat tó máa ń pè ní bàbá Kubure olóbádé bàbá nǹkan ò ní bàbá jáde ó wá jókòó sórí bench incidentally ìjọ́ kejì ibi that spot ni wọ́n sin bàbá ẹ̀ sí níjọ́ kejì ó ní so bí around bí 11 or 12 ẹ máa study nǹkan tí mò ń fẹ́ sọ yìí okay before I talk about nǹkan tí woman sọ ní 11 or 12 láàárọ̀ ọjọ́ yẹn apparently ìgbà tóun àti bàbá Káyọ̀dé lọ síbi tí wọ́n lọ ó wá padà sọ́dọ̀ Ayinla Gbéjàpá Ọba ṣe rẹ̀ pé spiritualist ẹ̀ ní ẹ̀mọ̀pá ó máa ń kí gan Ayinla Gbéjàpá Ọba òṣogùn ṣe mú ni ọgbàgbà tí ń gbára àdúgbò lọ́wọ́ ewu Mọ́túndé so spiritually Ayinla Gbéjàpá Ọba gan fún rẹ̀ orin ló máa ń kọ ní Ghana before kí wọ́n tó wá rí ìrànsí pé kó padà sí nǹkan táwọn bàbá ẹ̀ máa ń ṣe kó fi orin sílẹ̀ so but ló máa ń ṣògùn fún Ayinla Omowura so wọ́n ní láàárọ̀ ọjọ́ ẹ̀ mo interview àwọn ọmọ méjì Agbéjàpá Ọba ọkùnrin kan obìnrin kan ọkùnrin yẹn sọ pé òun wà ń bẹ̀ láàárọ̀ ọjọ́ yẹn pé kì í ṣe pé wọ́n sọ fún un Ayinla wá sọ́dọ̀ àwọn bí around 10-11 ó ní bàbá òun bá ṣe àsèjẹ kan lọ́wọ́ ó ló wà lórí iná ó ní so ó dẹ̀ wá ó wá sọ fún bàbá òun pé òun fẹ́ délé ìyàwó nǹkan tó wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ rẹ̀ ó ní bí Ayinla Omowura dẹ̀ ṣe lọ tán ó ní bàbá òun dẹ̀ bú sẹ́kún Ayinla ti lọ ó ló ń yílẹ̀ tó ń sunkún ni so Ayinla ń jẹun lọ́dọ̀ ìyàwó ẹ̀ yẹn lẹ́nìkan sáré wá pé Bayewumi wà ní bíápá lọ Síkírá ó bá fóúnjẹ tó ń jẹ sílẹ̀ bá pe driver yẹn ọmọ Ìbàdàn ni bá pè 504 yẹn náà kó máa lọ sí bíápá lọ Síkírá so bíápá lọ wà ń bẹ́ẹ̀ ó ní kó park ó ní kó fi mọ́tò lọ gbé ọlọ́pàá wá Meanwhile, the day before, 2 days before, Ayinla ti incident a case of theft of his motorbike
against Bayewumi.
against the Bayewumi ní bóyá Ìbàrà police station. So ó wá kò wọnú bíà palọ̀ yẹn kí ẹ mọ̀ pé wọ́n jọ kan máa ń wà níwájú bíà palọ̀ láyé ìgbà ó kàn fọwọ́ wọ́ wọ́n jẹ orí Bayewumi àti one of his other band members mo ti gbàgbé orúkọ ẹ̀ tó jọ wà bẹ́ẹ̀ wá ní Bayewumi wá ìyẹn wá fi ọwọ́ ọ̀tún gbé mọ́ọ̀gì gúldà tó mu ó fi ọwọ́ òsì mú ẹsẹ̀ ọ̀pá tó fi ń tẹ̀lẹ̀ ó wá sí ẹnu ọ̀nà Ayinla Omowura wá dì í mú lọ́rùn pé kó bá mú kọ́kọ́rọ́ motorbike o apparently nígbà tí bó ṣe grip yẹn ti tight excuse me Bayewumi wá da ọtí sójú ẹ̀ so bó ṣe wá da ọtí sójú ẹ̀ Ayinla Omowura fi agbádá ẹ̀ nu kíní ẹ̀ ó ṣáà apparently grip yẹn wà tighter so bóyá ìyẹn wà inconvenienced ni o àbí in anger ni o so bó ṣe ṣá mọ́ọ̀gì ẹ̀ mọ́ this particular place.
Okay.
So from autopsy tí wọ́n present in the court the cut was 0.02 centimeter deep. So bó dẹ̀ ṣe ṣákọ̀p yẹn ló fìdí from evidence tí wọ́n adduce ní court ẹ̀yìn ló bá lọlẹ̀ and he started vomiting ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí bì ẹ má gbàgbé pé mo ló ń jẹun lọ́wọ́ ní ọ̀dọ̀ so wọ́n ṣe Síkírátù Adékọlá ẹ gbà mí o wọ́n ṣàchátà taxi wọ́n kọ́ gbé lọ sí Olúgbadé ìyẹn náà hospital kan ni mo rò pé ìyẹn rí pé wá rí fáwọn lọ sí general ló kù sí. Nǹkan tí mo wá fẹ́ sọ yìí tí mo ní woman Kẹ́hìndé lórúkọ mo meet ọmọ ẹ̀ náà mo interview ọmọ yẹn ṣe mo kọ́ first born Ayinla Omowura máa ń kọlà irú ìlà tiẹ̀ so lady yẹn ní ó ní láàánú lójú báyìí náà bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ so she told me pé ṣe ẹ má gbàgbé pé mo sọ pé ọmọ Ayinla Omowura Kúbúrẹ́ ó jókòó sórí oníṣòwò bí bàbá kan ṣe sáré dé ni ẹ pé Ayinla àti Bayewumi já wọ́n ó ní the first thing tí Kúbúrẹ́ sọ ni pé ìjẹ́ Bayewumi ò ti pa bàbá àwọn báyìí kò pẹ́ sígbà yẹn bí taxi kan ṣe dé sí ẹ̀gbẹ́ ilé wọn woman yẹn sọ pé òun gbogbo àwọn èèyàn làwọn rush lọ síbẹ̀ òun rí Ayinla Omowura ó wà lẹ́yìn taxi yẹn ó ti bọ́ aṣọ ọrùn ẹ̀ there was a cut on his head ó ìmí ó pé òun ìrì tó ìmí apparently nǹkan tèmi wá piece together ni pé bóyá ńgbà tí kán tó gbé lọ sí hospital àwọn èèyàn ní kán gbé lọ sí ilé ògùn ẹ̀ láti salvage because woman yẹn wá ní àwọn èèyàn sọ pé máyì mi ẹ jẹ́ gbé máyì lọ sí hospital wọ́n ṣe wá gbé lọ sí hospital and he died at the general hospital so ìjọ́ kejì ni wọ́n wá sí in court when I now became a lawyer I looked at that because mo ní law report yẹn.
A publisher me.
I'm a publisher. I published it as appendix. The lawyer Bayewumi claimed that Ayinla wà hypertensive ni wípé Bayewumi kọ́ ló pa. And then they were saying that okay, so what happened to that wound? Unfortunately, nígbà tí àwọn investigating police officers when they came they couldn't see the murder weapon. Mo dẹ̀ wá bá ọmọ agbéjàpá ọba sọ̀rọ̀ ó ní àfọ́kù ìgò yẹn ó wà lé àwọn for almost 4 years lẹ́yìn that. So apparently some people came there and picked the murder weapon. So they didn't find any murder weapon. But the court was saying we could see any sharp object lára ǹdíbẹ̀ that could have given Omowura that sharp cut. And they couldn't rebut that evidence. But nǹkan tí mo find very, because I searched for it. There was no appeal.
Okay.
And I feel that was strange.
Was it because of Ayinla Omowura's popularity?
Yes, I think this popularity was also because as at that time, T. George, if he had given a judgment that was otherwise, fans in Omowura would have killed her. They would have killed the judge.
Ayinla Omowura was on top at that.
He was on top. In fact, Emma Nkantan ṣe lẹ́yìn they burnt so many houses in Abeokuta. Gbogbo ilé Bayewumi's father, they burnt everything. Ọmọ Bayewumi, ó dẹ̀ dàbí ẹni pé òun ni the only ọkùnrin. Wọ́n á béèrè lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀, ó wá ní bàbá ọ̀run láti Ìbàrà prison. Ó kọ lẹ́tà sọ pé kò ń wá rí òun. Bẹ̀tà àyà gbogbo wọn náà sá pamọ́ because they will kill them. Òun ò wá lọ rí. Why would you not go and see your father? And what that boy told me was that even the motorbike, the so-called motorbike, kò sẹ́ni tó fojú rí. Bóyá bàbá ẹ̀ ní information tó fẹ́ fún o, he never went there. And there was a lawyer, ó dùn mí gan, I was going to interview him, mo ti gbàgbé orúkọ wọn báyìí, who was in the prison with Bayewumi and told, he was one of Onabanjo's aides, a lawyer. I don't know orúkọ wọn. He's late now. Mo bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀, I wanted to come and interview him. So he was at the Ìbàrà prisons with Bayewumi became a born-again Christian. In fact, they said he was preaching in the prisons. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ní afínjú ni. Wọ́n ní iron aṣọ prison báyìí ironed. La pattern, right?
Even as a condemned...
as a condemned prisoner. What now happened was Dia, General Dia, when he became the governor, military governor in Ogun State, ó kàn visit Ìbàrà prison ni. Ló bá ní kí controller mú gbogbo orúkọ àwọn orí àwọn ẹlẹ́wọ̀n condemned prisoners looking well fed. But what kind of nonsense is this? Ló bá ní kí the second day kó mú list àwọn condemned prisoners and he ordered that they should be executed. He told me that ìjọ tí I think Adefulu lórúkọ wọn is late now, lawyer. Ìjọ tí wọ́n fẹ́ pa Bayewumi, wọ́n ló gbé Bible dání rẹ̀. Wọ́n làwọn ń wo lójú window àwọn ẹ̀mọ́ pé wọ́n lè jáde. Olódẹ̀ ń kọrin lọ, gbé Bible ń kọrin lọ sí gallows until he was executed. I'm curious that judgment was not appealed against. Some people have said that it should have been manslaughter and not murder. Because he didn't. But there's also the eggshell principle, which says that you take your victim the way you met him. You met the victim. For instance, if you are walking by a patient just came out from an hospital, tí wọ́n dẹ̀ ti sọ fún pé the patient has 1 week to live. Tó wá dó sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ títì, tí ò wá dé tó wá ní altercation pẹ̀lú ẹ̀, tẹ́ ẹ jà tó tì tó kú, ó lè sọ fún court pé wọ́n ti sọ pé kò ní pẹ́ kú.
Ìwọ náà ni wọ́n máa.
Ìwọ ni. So I think that line of defense by the counsel Bayewumi, I think it was defective to argue that I thought that they should have stuck to the angle of manslaughter. But at best to say that it was not intentional. And then there was provocation. Ayinla Omowura could be said to have provoked him by even that he was choked. You could have argued that he was choked and that he didn't have any other thing than to defend himself. And the only weapon in his hand was the beer mug. So that's the way I look at it.
Báwo lẹ ṣe feel nígbà tí bàbá Túndé Kẹ́lání tí wọ́n ṣe version Ayinla Omowura tiwọn, but a lot of things nínú nǹkan tí wọ́n ṣe ó yàtọ̀ sí nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀.
Ẹ̀gbọ́n Túndé Kẹ́lání, what happened was when I wrote an article on Ayinla Omowura, I think in 2017 or so, in the Cable, So it went viral. So Uncle Yomi Layinka, he was my successor as SA Media to Ajimobi. He was the one who called me and said Tunde Kelani called him, because apparently once from Mr. Tunde Kelani, this person used to be media head to Ajimobi, and I wanted more Uncle Yomi Layinka. So Uncle Yomi Layinka called me that Tunde Kelani wanted to get in touch with me. I wanted to phone number. Money is okay. So Tunde Kelani called me and said that ọ̀rọ̀ tán sọ ni pé Ọlọ́run ló ní kí n má tí ṣe fíìmù yìí before now. I would have, because after reading your piece on Ayinla Omowura, you're an authority on him, and I needed to work with you. So he sent me the script that I should help him touch it, infuse àwọn orin tí mo fi ipò bá àwọn scenes tí wọ́n kọ. And then so he did that. And when my book came out, he came to my office to interview me. And then I also went to his house in Abeokuta. Èmi ni mo mú one of the band boys, Ayinla Omowura, tí wọ́n interview. Èmi ni mo mú wá fún wọn. You see, nǹkan táwọn èèyàn confused ni pé I think what Ẹ̀gbọ́n Kelani did in that film was faction, a mixture of fact and fiction.
Okay.
Kì í ṣe direct
Nǹkan tó
ṣẹlẹ̀. First is that obìnrin kọ́ ló lead sí quarrel tó wà láàrin Ayinla Omowura àti Bayewumi. But in that film, it was a woman. Second, there were many things that were not right were not strictly nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí Ayinla Omowura tí ó wà ní film.
Unfortunately, our young people, tó bá wo movie yẹn, they have it in their head pé that was exactly, or not them passed down.
No, but of course, like this one, like what I wrote in this book, as I said in the preface, it's like a reportorial account, because I was doing the work of a reporter in this book. What people said and what you want, because it was actually a hard task, trying to piece together the life of a man who had passed 40 years before them.
Yeah.
Many of àwọn tí wọ́n jọ̀rẹ́ memories wọn ti lọ. There was a particular man I interviewed, kí ló máa ń pè bàbá yẹn, mo ti gbàgbé orúkọ ẹ̀, memory ẹ̀ ti lọ, and he was one of his closest. In fact, bàbá yẹn á sọ pé kákọ́ lọ ra anything tó ń bá mọ anything òun àrántí.
Ṣé kò ní get worse.
So there were so many gaps, but my own account is more, because I wasn't doing a hagiography here. Ẹ rí pé àwọn nǹkan tó wà negative against Ayinla Omowura pọ̀ nínú ìwé ju èyí tó positive.
Àwọn èèyàn kì í fẹ́ kí a lọ sórí the weaknesses of our artists.
No, which is not fair.
Fẹ́ ká máa dúró lórí positives.
No, because Ẹ̀gbọ́n Fẹ́mi Pópóọlá, the broadcaster,
Yes.
We were at Igboora recently, and he was saying that, look, in spite of the weaknesses of Ayinla Omowura, this book was saying that this man towered far higher than his weaknesses. Ayinla Omowura was such a man who, no matter how drunk he was, the moment he was beside the microphone,
Fire law.
Baba Adewale Oniluola told me pé àǹjọ̀nú ni Ayinla Omowura. Pé tó bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí kọrin báyìí, of course, that was somebody who didn't go through the four walls of a school, and to imagine him reproduce ẹ wo orin ẹ̀ yìí, báwo ló ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ orin yìí o? Lówùrọ̀ kùtùkùtù bọ́mọkùnrin bá jí, bí nǹkan ò le kò yá lé nǹkan torí ọjọ́ alẹ́, àìdúró níjòyè, ẹni bá ṣiṣẹ́ jàre òṣì, majority ṣé ẹ ń gbọ́. Ìyá rẹ̀ lè lówó lọ́wọ́, bàbá lẹ́ṣin lè kàn, gbogbo ojúlé wọn òfò ló máa mú. Ẹ wo, ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká rówó ká fi mìlìkì, you could see he was saying that, look, it's not your àwúre pé tó bá jí láàárọ̀ tí ọmọkùnrin bá jí láàárọ̀ tí ò sí nǹkan tó ń le kó náà bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí máa lé nǹkan, that you cannot remain idle. You see, the philosophy, I studied philosophy, and I tell you that the Aristotles, the Platos of this world, àwọn philosophies weren't greater than what this man was philosophizing through songs. And that's what I do in my column, to show the whole world that, look, àwọn African musicians yìí, àwọn nuggets tí wọ́n produce, they are top notch.
Dáàdì mi máa ń aláwọ̀dà ni wọ́n gan, so wọ́n máa ń fi kọrin Ayinla Omowura kan, wọ́n get it dáadáa later mo realize, but tó máa ti kọrin gbọ́ bí ẹ bá ṣe jẹ́ ẹ máa ṣe sùn tó máa ti kọrin ẹ Ayinla ó kọ nǹkan tó jọ.
Mo fẹ́ rántí nísìnyí ó dẹ̀ pé nínú tó bá jí kó má ṣe dákun má ṣe sùn bí o bá jí
dákun má ṣe sùn,
dákun má ṣe sùn bí o bá jí o.
bàbá mi change ẹ̀ sí bí o bá ṣe jẹ́ ẹ má ṣe sùn bí o bá ṣe jẹ́ ẹ má ṣe sùn.
You know, he was always advocating hard work. He was advocating, you know, that people should move towards culture. Was advocating and then he was a musician tó jẹ́ pé all the dysfunctional aspects of his family, he was always projecting them in songs. He was talking about women tó ń bleach àwọn tó ń bóra. He was the first one to start attacking them. He was the first person to talk about ọmọ panṣágà rántí ọjọ́ ọ̀la o, and then talked about his own son Akeem, you know, who was a laggard. And look, ìyá rẹ̀ á roko, ìyá lè roko rodò kí bàbá ó roko, you know, predicting that someday, and it's still happening now. Àwọn tí bàbá wọn bóyá wọ́n lówó, wọ́n lẹ́ṣin léèkàn, tí wọ́n rely on, like his son Akeem relied heavily on his father's wealth, and they couldn't. And then one major lesson tí àwọn èèyàn láti learn from the life from the tragedy, of Ayinla Omowura ni pé first, ṣe mọ̀ pé ó máa ń sọ pé epo ni mo rù oníyangí má bà tèmi jẹ́, òun náà máa ń kọ́. He didn't know the value of what he carried. He carried an awesome talent. Bàbá Adéwọlé sọ fún mi pé, àwọn sọ fún mi pé Ayinla Omowura ó ní brand new Benz méjì ló ní tí EMI rà fún, ó ní Volvo, ó ní all brand wa, kéèyàn gbé ẹṣin, kéèyàn gbé irin sórí kó wá máa fi ẹsẹ̀ dẹ ihò ìrẹ̀. He died over a motorcycle. Bàbá Adéwọlé sọ fún mi pé àwọn sọ fún at some point pé ẹgbẹ́ gan ló ra motorcycle yìí 500 naira àbí nǹkan náà láwọn ra motorcycle. So it didn't even belong to you.
Owó ẹgbẹ́ gan.
Àṣẹ owó ẹgbẹ́ ni wọ́n fi rà.
Bàbá dẹ̀ claim máa yẹn pé right ti yẹ àwọn ní right gan jùlọ nítorí pé band.
Another story nìyẹn. Bàbá told me, and which I also affirm, bàbá ló ní band gan. Ṣé mo pé àpàlà kì í ṣe ìlú gan ló ń jẹ́ àpàlà. Bàbá ẹ mọ̀ kọ́ ọmọ Ìdèrè ni bàbá, Lọ́yọ̀ State. Okay. He actually came from Ìdèrè. Ó la Ayinla Omowura fi máa ń pè wọ́n máa tọ̀rìn wá. He migrated from Ìdèrè, but family wọn àwọn onílù ni wọ́n. So bàbá ní àwọn tí láwọn sànmọ̀rí tó ń follow àwọn gbà yẹn, bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n máa ń sọ fún ẹ pé lọ gẹ̀ẹ́tì olórin tí ó mọ kọrin fún ẹ, tí ó mọ lùlù fún, pé ìyẹn gan la lè jẹ́ kí vitality brand yẹn kó wà stronger. Wọ́n láwọn á bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí wá bọ́ọ̀ náà, pé wọ́n ní bọ́ọ̀ yẹn kan wà láwọn wá àwọn ṣẹjọ́ táwọn ṣáàrì pé ó ń ṣe légbè lẹ́yìn olórin kan ni, pé kí á dá tiwálẹ̀ tiwa. Wọ́n ní first engagement táwọn kọ́kọ́ lọ ní Ìgbógìlà níbẹ̀, wọ́n pe àwọn fún bóyá òkú àbí nǹkan kan, àwọn débẹ̀ ní ẹni wọn àbáwọn ṣe débẹ̀ náà ni àtàná làwọn ti ṣe nǹkan táwọn wá ṣe àtàwọn fẹ́ ṣe. Wọ́n láwọn á pé ìwé láti fẹ́ rówó tá a fi wọ mọ́tò padà sí Abẹ́òkúta. Àwọn bá ní kó jẹ́ káwọn lọ sọ àwọn ẹlẹ́ran ní sáwọn sọ kọ̀ǹgọ́ sílùú báyìí, táyìnlá bá jó lọ báyìí tó jó lọ báyìí, nọ́mbà làwọn ọmọ ẹlẹ́ran bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí fún olówó táwọn pa níjọ́ yẹn. And then and to be fair to Ayinla Omowura, ó máa acknowledge pé bàbá Adéwọlé onílù ọ̀la ọ̀gá òun. but ṣe mọ̀ pé wọ́n túká bóyá 1974 àbí 1975 wọ́n jà.
ọdún kan ṣe tù wá.
Ìgbà tí mo béèrè lọ́wọ́ bàbá Adéwọlé kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ wọ́n nígbà tán sọ ọmọọṣẹ́ di wọ́n sọ ọ̀gá dọmọṣẹ́ ní bàbá fi Àyìnlá Ọmọwúrà lẹ̀ ó wá lọ lùlù fún olórin kan náà tó tún wá jẹ́ family Àyìnlá Ọmọwúrà yẹn gan ló dùn jù but at some point àwọn méjèèjì discover pé wọ́n ní ìdí ara wọn. But
àwọn méjèèjì team ni wọ́n tó yẹ pé látòdì ọ̀run
and then one day baba in fact ìjọ mo lọ interview wọn sunkún gan and I was sorry for him when I got there. Èèyàn lè máa gbé ibi tí bàbá yẹn gbé to imagine after being lead drummer to a major musician in Nigeria ibi tí bàbá yẹn gbé rẹ̀.
Ara àwọn nǹkan tí èmi ń try láti advocate fún ni ẹnu mi ní tẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ débẹ̀ ìbí náà délé bàbá ń gbà tán wà láàyè mo sì ní fídíò interview tí mo ṣe fún wọn ibẹ̀ yẹn ká gbàgbé age wọn èèyàn á sọ̀rì fún wọn.
Èèyàn á sọ̀rì.
Gbogbo royalty tó wá láti ọ̀dọ̀ EMA ṣe báwọn èèyàn kan náà jọ ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn
bẹ́ẹ̀ni
kò ń ṣe ẹnìkan
bẹ́ẹ̀ni
àwọn èèyàn máa sọ pé lágbájá ó hate ẹnìkan ó hate ẹnìkejì no àwọn tí wọ́n jọ ṣe ọbẹ̀ yẹn yálà wọ́n jọ mọ̀ ṣe
bẹ́ẹ̀ni ó yẹ kán jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ni they should be part and parcel of that
no matter
royalty.
how small kò ṣe pé kéèyàn kan dàyà kọ́
kò dáa
kó sọ
rárá
pé èmi ni lágbájá èmi ni mo ní band káwọn tó wá ní tí wọ́n jọ contribute ó ṣe gìtá lásán lẹni ẹ ta ká nílùú òyìnbó ni
bẹ́ẹ̀ni a máa gba royalty fún nǹkan tó ń ṣe kò dáa rárá
àwọn èèyàn sọ pé
ó popularize wọn gan
àti sọ́jú àrísọ oríwá ò pé
no you be sorry for that man but he was lucky later àwọn èèyàn wá gather together before he died but níjọ́ tí mo rí wọn wọ́n sunkún ni wọ́n wa omi pé ẹ̀bùn ṣébi tí gbajúmọ̀ yẹ kó máa gbére bẹ́ǹchì báyìí ni bàbá ló wà ní sitting room bàbá the other corner báyìí ìyàwó wọn gbé ọbẹ̀ àwọn ìsásùn nínú sitting room níbi tí wọ́n sùn it was a rich but bàbá from my reading of him that day njọ́ tí mo interview bàbá yóò forgive Àyìnlá Ọmọwúrà.
Yes wọn
for forgive her 40 years after
wọ́n sì ní
wọ́n yìí ní grounds against her.
then mo ti ń wrap up báyìí tó mo ti gba time gan àwọn ọmọ Àyìnlá Ọmọwúrà wọ́n fẹ́ gbógun kan dìde lórí ìwé.
Wọ́n fẹ́ gbógun and nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ni pé gbà tí ìwé yẹn jáde I mean of course mo interview wọn bóyá wọn ò believe pé it was going to be such a success and so when the book came out they met me pé kéèmí á fáwọn royalty and I said the concept of royalty is copyright àròsọ lèmi kọ sínú ìwé bàbá yín ò ní impute síbẹ̀ unlike ẹ̀gbọ́n Túndé Kèlání who used the songs of Àyìnlá Ọmọwúrà èmi jókòó mo kọ àròsọ ni and this thing was not wholly positive about your father but wọ́n lọ sẹ́dọ̀ Ebenezer Obey spoke with me and said they came to him and they sọ fún mi pé in fact kábíyèsí Aláké of Ẹ̀gbálà wọ́n try gan because when I first met him nǹkan tó ń sọ ni pé ọmọ bo ni ẹ mọ lọmọ Àkúrẹ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n wa l'Àyìnlá Ọmọwúrà kí ni link ẹ tó fi kọrúwèé Asha, he liked me. In fact, he bought 100 copies of the book. So later, wọ́n wá pè mí. Àwọn ọmọ Àyìnlá wọ́n ṣàwá pè meeting pé ká pàdé. And okay. Of course, I said the same thing. Pé tí wọ́n bá sọ pé wọ́n fẹ́ prove pé copyright wọ́n wà ńbẹ̀, they can go to court. So that court á wa determine whether their father had a copyright. Pé but tí wọ́n bá fẹ́ ká fi ṣe egbò ilé àbí báwo náà ṣe máa ń pè. Then mi ò ṣáà launch ìwé. Ká fi launch sí another anniversary Àyìnlá Ọmọwúrà in which case àwa ṣe launch ẹ̀ bàbá pa 100 naira a lè decide pé bóyá kéèmí mú 40 kẹ́yìn mú iye báyìí but so bàbá Aláké wá sọ nǹkan pé bàbá yín àwa mọ̀ ọmọ yẹn ó intellectualize bàbá yín ni o and he polished your father is somebody that you should be tó yẹ kẹ́ máa gbé gẹ̀gẹ̀gẹ̀ kì í ṣe ẹni tó yẹ kẹ́ denigrate. I said okay fine. So pé next year a ṣe launch ìwé ìgbà tí time dẹ̀ dé mo ní tá bá fẹ́ ṣe àgbà hall a contribute ní now since tó yẹ bá jọ fẹ́ ṣe a jọ contribute àmúyọ kẹ́mi mẹ́pọ̀ so when they were not forthcoming èmi go they like idea pé wọ́n launch ìwé so that was how but I mean that was what happened. Ẹ
ṣé gan ni sir mo tábà tún ní ká máa sọ lọ for the next 1 hour àti orí nǹkan sọ but fún ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá ṣì ní interest nínú ìwé àwọn ń ta ibi náà ń ta o ibi ò ní copy máa wà rà lọ́dọ̀ yìí actually but mo ṣì ní few copies ṣá táwọn èèyàn lè rà hard copy wà paperback náà wà Festus Adedayo Ayinla Omowura Life and Times of an Apala Legend ní tèmi èmi I'll keep the struggle on ó lè má yield nǹkan sí but at least ó máa wà lákọọ́lẹ̀ wípé mo sọ ó dẹ̀ lè change lórí àwọn tó wà ń bẹ̀ sí wípé gbogbo nǹkan tá a bá jọ ń ṣe tó jẹ́ orin intellectual property
it should be a collective
a lè má gba nǹkan kan náà tọ́gà bá mú 90%.
ẹ jẹ́ káwọn náà mú 10
kàn tiẹ̀ mú 10 kàn pín 10 wọ́n á mọ̀ pé nǹkan kan wà then later a máa improve kò ń ṣe pé winner takes all kò yẹ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ because most of àwọn tó bá àwọn òṣèré wa ṣeré wọ́n kú sínú poverty wọ́n tọrọ owó fún wọn tí ó dẹ̀ yẹ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ I hate anybody then humans ni wọ́n gbogbo àwọn agbádùn orin wọn èèyàn ni wọ́n èèyàn ni mí èèyàn ni bàbá tó bí mi but kò sí adama kò síbi kan sí wọn ló ní weakness so tá a bá ń study wọn tá à ń sọ pé wọ́n dáa ó yẹ ká máa wo kí ni weaknesses wọn náà ká lè kẹ́kọ̀ọ́
absolutely
láti bẹ̀. ẹ ṣé gan ni ṣé doctor nìkan àbí barrister. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.